To lead the Skol chant and sound the Yaller horn, please welcome the 31st Adjutant General of the Minnesota National Guard, Major General John Jensen.
Well, hello, this is John Randall, Minnesota Vikings legend, and it is my pleasure to say, Minnesota Vikings fans uncensored, are you ready? Keith, get your people up. Let's go. Skol, 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 baby. Let's go.
Hello, Vikings fans. Welcome to the Let's Skol show on week 4 of the offseason. I'm Fish. As always, I've got Mr. Positivity, Cody Bowden. He who greets with smoke, Skolful Shack. Our captain, Keith, will be joining us momentarily. As you know, he's doing his Keith stuff in the background, getting us launched. So, Sam Darnold's headed to the Super Bowl. Now what? Turns out Mike Pettin isn't a big fan of Brian Flores. Do you have any concerns there over his opinion? And it looks like Flores is going to be back on our sidelines. He's going to be a man down, though. The Senior Bowl's this weekend, and Shaq has 5 players fans should key in on. We're going to go around the Gallahorn with our hot takes, make our Purple Prophecy predictions, and talk all things Skol. Tonight, we're going to be joined by Freddie, better known in the community as Purple and Gold Bars. But before we jump into all that, let's break this ice. Aside from Sam Darnold, which we will talk about, what were your takeaways from the conference championship games, fellas?
Defense.
Where was this Sam Darnold for us last year? That's my fucking takeaway for it.
Okay, other than Sam Darnold, which we will talk about later.
That's the takeaway. Where was that? I'm sorry. It's just that is what it is.
All right, well, let me try this one on you, fellas. The Denver Broncos made it to the AFC Championship game and lost and fired a coach, their OC, saying that's not good enough. And here we are. Well, like our O-line coach left. Don't know that we even fired him. We didn't renew him or something. I mean, how do you feel about how they're not going to tolerate that versus us just being Minnesota nice? What say you, Captain?
What's going on? Yeah, I don't think we're going to end up firing anybody. And, yeah, it was crazy to see them say, yeah, not good enough. We went to the conference championship. Our starting quarterback got injured. We were playing in a blizzard. Our kicker missed, 3 field goals? Yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of the offensive coordinator. So
I don't know.
That was crazy to see.
The Broncos playoffs, statistically, they weren't good. The whole player, the bottom half of the playoffs, bottom third, I even want to say, the playoffs, statistically wise, offensively. So Sean Payton says, well, we can make it to the playoffs, but we need to be a lot better in the playoffs. So in my opinion, that'd be a good fire for me.
I'm just saying I wouldn't mind just a smidge of that impatience, just a smidge.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Just taste. Just some.
Yeah. But also from those games, what I really noticed was all 4 teams, they had good defenses and they got good quarterback play. All 4 of them. That just seems to be a recipe that's tried, tested, and true. And we were missing one of those ingredients this year.
Yep.
But man, it's been a good playoffs overall, like from the wild card weekend to this week. Even though it was kind of somewhat of a boring game, that Patriots and Broncos game, it was still, I don't know, somewhat entertaining to see what are they going to do. It's like a blizzard. It's snowing. They're out there still trying. It was still a close game, and like the excitement came from field goals. Like, are they going to be able to get this field goal off? And the answer was no, just about every time. And
it kind of made me think about that game a few years ago where New England played against Buffalo in Buffalo, and it was so bad that they literally didn't pass, and New England ran the ball like 50 times and won the game. It was still in the Belichick era.
I remember that game.
That's probably what they should have done.
They couldn't even run the ball. It was that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, the Patriots were kind of running. I mean, when I say running, I mean they were getting 3 to 5 yards a carry. RJ Harvey was like still trying to make like jump cuts and stuff and be like crafty behind the line and trying to hit the holes instead of just go forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that was kind of the difference. And it's crazy. The Broncos could have won that game if not for the one Stidham, mess up where he threw the ball behind the line of scrimmage, and that's the only way that the Patriots got their touchdown. So that's kind of crazy that they were in it. I mean, after he threw that first touchdown, I was like, oh man, we might have a future Viking right here.
Bring back memories of that Vikings Eagles game.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure Bronco fans feel that way because I'm sure after they scored that touchdown, they're like, we're going to the Super Bowl.
And then nothing.
All right. I know, Cody. You guys just want to talk about Sam Darnold, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Sam Darnold is going to the Super Bowl. So, in your opinion, Cody, how does this reflect on the Vikings, if it does reflect on them at all?
We would have made a playoffs. I think that's the only thing it'd reflect. I mean, we might have been a good defense, quarterback. I think we'd make the playoffs, but do I think we make the Super Bowl? No. But at least we got the playoffs, which we all would say here is a successful season. So,
do you think it reflects negatively on the franchise, the fact that Sam Darnold went to the Super Bowl, even though it's with a totally different team?
Yes, I do think it's going to reflect badly against the Vikings, especially against their GM Kwesi, and possibly even against KOC, because I know you gave out the 1 year, you offered him the 1 year contract with the same amount of guaranteed money. He wanted stability. If he was really going to be your guy, you would have added more years of stability to that, right? And especially when you got JJ McCarthy's next year, if he's not the starter next year, and then that May 1st deadline comes around for his 5th year option, and he hasn't even started a full season healthy. He's 3 years basically riding on the bench. So it definitely reflects badly, especially letting that guy go and what he saw them bringing them to the Super Bowl when he could have brought us to at least the playoffs. So I think it reflects badly.
I think it reflects poorly on them, and I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that we let him go that it reflects. I think it's just a very juxtaposed showing of two different teams. Sam Darnold won a damn playoff game against San Francisco, 41-6, and went like 13 for 16 for 123 yards and no touchdowns. Why? Because they've got a stout offensive line and a hell of a run game. So if Sam Darnold was still with us, do I think we'd have gone to the playoffs? Yeah. Do I think he'd have gotten murdered behind that first half of the season offensive line like Wentz and McCarthy did? Yeah. But I don't know that he could have pushed us all the way like this because we don't have a coach that's willing to commit to the run like Seattle's coach is. It had been put on his shoulders. The chances of him, letting that less than 2-to-1 TD to interception ratio during the course of the season really flaring up in the playoffs would have been higher. So when you look at the Seattle organization versus Minnesota, and just sort of that dichotomy, you say, well, Seattle's kind of doing things right, and we're just stuck. We're gonna just throw the ball bombs away no matter who's behind center. So I think it reflects more poorly on what kind of people Kwesi has put on the team and what KOC has done with his game plan versus what Seattle has done to surround Sam Darnold with to give him a chance to win a Super Bowl.
I think it's going to reflect bad on us, like perception-wise, but in the grand scheme of things, I really do not hold it against them. I don't. They did try to bring him back for the 1 year, like that's been noted, that's out there, and I'm cool with that. But the Vikings did have a plan of how they want to go forward with this team, and I'm not mad at them for trying to run with that plan, and I honestly think they should keep going with that plan. However, I kind of differ from you and Cody when thinking if we did have Sam Darnold, I think we would have been competing for the Super Bowl. And that's not just because I think Sam Darnold is this MVP type quarterback. It's because we won 9 games with J.J. McCarthy and Carson Wentz, who were unstable the whole season. I mean, if nothing else, Sam Darnold is stable. So, I mean, we probably win at least 11 games in the regular season. And once you're in the playoffs, I believe anything could happen. And by that time, our offensive line was playing good. Our defense is pretty close to Seattle's defense. Like, they're both top 5 defenses. We do have a good running game. You do make a good point, Fish. Would KOC use it? I don't know. But with the big plays, we saw Sam Darnold was capable of doing the big plays that KOC liked to run. Like, our offense was humming last year. It's kind of our defense holding us back. So if we had that offense with the defense we had this year, I think we're a menace. So I do think we were competing for the Super Bowl if we had Sam Darnold at quarterback this year, and that's not really gassing up Sam Darnold.
I would agree with you there if we had Sam Darnold for the final 5 weeks of the season heading into the Super Bowl. Because I don't know if Sam Darnold can even stay healthy behind this offensive line that we had through the first 11 weeks of the season. So that would be my biggest concern. Could he stay healthy through that stretch before hitting that 5 games winning streak that we went on? Because that's when our offensive line without Christian Darrisaw actually was starting to be healthy going forward and playing better. So,
yeah, my concern would have been for his health making it through the first half of the season too.
Well, I mean, he stayed healthy last year, and I think offensive line was one of our biggest flaws. That's why we went out and got Will Fries. That's why we went out and got Ryan Kelly. That's why we drafted a guard in the first round. We didn't have a good offensive line with him last year. We won 14 games.
Yeah. There's a reason why he self-destructed, though, Keith. And I'm just saying, for as bad as our offensive line was a year ago, the first half of the season, it was like historically bad. I mean, they were literally imploding. We saw it. We saw it live. We saw them not be able to hold a block and just
right. And it was still a winnable game if we had a quarterback that could complete some passes. We also saw some bad quarterbacking when he had opportunities. We saw one good pass from J.J. McCarthy in that game.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm just saying that my concern would have been for him to make it out healthy. You had one quarterback, high ankle sprain. Then you had another quarterback who his arm was falling off of him and he was still playing with a brace, and I'm just saying my concern would have been him making it out of that healthy. I don't know that he could have done it. I don't know that anybody could have done it.
Yeah, that 4-8 stretch we went on.
I don't think it would have been a 4-8 stretch. So, Shaq, you're being awfully quiet here.
There's not much to say, I mean, I feel like we probably could have made it to a deeper playoff run this year. Don't know if we would have made it all the way to the Super Bowl, but I feel like we all was under the assumption that Sam Darnold could not get better with us, even though last year was his one and only season with us. And typically, players generally do better their second year in the same system versus, their first year. So I feel like maybe if we would have kept Sam Darnold, he would have probably been even better than he was for us last year. And there was a lot of the plays where we seen either Wentz or J.J. McCarthy. The receivers open deep, but they just couldn't hit him deep due to the offensive line sucking or miscommunications.
Yeah. I mean, we've said it a few times on the show. All of us have said it at one point or another. If we had competent QB play, this season would have looked a lot different. And I think Sam Darnold would have gave us competent QB play. And we also have said that if we were to somehow get into the playoffs, we're a team that nobody wants to see. So I think that includes with Sam Darnold being that quarterback and having a strong offensive line at the end of the season and a good defense. So I do think we could be in the same position. I mean, I don't know. No one saw the Seahawks going to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah. I mean, there's also you got I mean, Sam Darnold, he probably could take us all the way, but the person that's going to stop us in the playoffs and stop Sam Darnold himself in the playoffs is going to be Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
That's what's going to
Whoa. Did Zoe enter the chat?
I'm just saying, watching KOC's wounds from the playoffs is on KOC himself. We watched Kirk Cousins go in the playoffs, play one hell of a game, right? Sam Darnold was starting to play one hell of a game against the Rams, and then he got torn up from that offensive line. So it is KOC's fault, and especially in those late game positions where you have to be a coach, you have to manage your team down the field and lead them down the field. He does not call the correct plays to lead ourselves down the field to win those games. And we saw it twice already.
Sounds like maybe Cody did a little reflecting after last week.
Yeah. I still keep him KOC though. So
yeah, it's just KOC.
Wait, is Cody going against his New Year's resolution? No. Okay.
No. The guy's off limits.
KOC,
So,
he does need to adjust.
Do you guys think that Sam Darnold going to the Super Bowl and potentially win the Super Bowl makes Kwesi and KOC seat any hotter than it already is after missing the playoffs this year?
I could only hope. Something, please, God, wake the Wilfs up. Please make them put some pressure on and go, I don't care if I even agree with it. It's just like, Wilfs, Mark, Ziggy, realize something. Realize that your GM, I know you just extended him, but by God, your GM can't draft worth shit. His free agent's flubbed. He's absolutely hamstrung this team. Your quarterback whisperer can't develop young players. Put an ultimatum down. Do something. Make them respond and perform. Something.
Yeah, this is going to put – I do think this is actually going to warm up their seats and put more pressure on them than just not making the playoffs would have this year. If the Seahawks would have lost their first playoff game, I would say their seats aren't even hot. Well, Kwesi's seat should already be hot, but I would say KOC's seat wouldn't even be warm if the Seahawks would have lost their first game. But now if they're going to the playoffs, I think the pressure is going to be, pretty immense.
Alex Hortis just made a comment, and if that happens, if that doesn't make the seats boiling hot, if Darnold wins the Super Bowl MVP, there it is right there. That puts a big spotlight on it. Because you can't hide behind, the only reason Darnold won is because the defense, the team carried him, all that stuff. If he wins the MVP, you can't hide from that.
If I'm KOC, I'm looking back at who got fired this year or got let go by teams. Oh, you tell me 2 Super Bowl winning coaches got fired or let go this offseason? Yeah, my seat's probably a little warm. I should probably figure some things out.
And Unk has crossed the threshold. Attaboy.
Yes. I think I'm still staying level-headed about this just because a lot of this anger from Viking fans is hindsight. Back in February, March, nobody wanted to give Sam $100 million, except for you, Shaq, okay? When I say nobody, you are not a part of that. But nobody wanted to give Sam Darnold $100 million. If we would have signed Sam Darnold to a $100 million contract back in March, there would have been a mutiny. And when the Seahawks gave Sam Darnold a $100 million contract, Seahawks fans didn't even want him. So this is like all hindsight. So can't get mad at what ended up happening when this is something that most people agreed was the best thing to do was to move on and to move forward with the guy that you drafted at number 10. And I'm okay with him doing that. To me, it'll be more detrimental if they don't continue rolling with JJ McCarthy. Now, if they give up on that plan after 1 year and they let Darnold go, no, we got a problem. Like,
it's on fire.
It's like you kind of got to stick to the plan. Like we gave up on him and we brought in JJ McCarthy to play, and we weren't expecting this to be a 1 year thing. Like, okay, we're going to the Super Bowl with JJ McCarthy. Like, we brought him in knowing that there is going to be some bumps and it's going to be progression. And I think you got to stay on that damn ride.
Well, yeah, you draft a quarterback as a head coach, you ride or die with that quarterback as a head coach.
And I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying you made a decision, and the decision wasn't made what is best for the 2025 season. You made a decision on what's best for this team's future. And you can't just give up on that after one season. And if you do, then that starts to look bad. And then I'm probably Team Zoe.
Yeah, it starts to look way too reactionary.
I think it was because the numbers at the time when Sam Darnold was winning us all these games, we was talking like 55, 60 million a year. And people was like, I'm not trying to pay him that much money.
Yeah.
So I
and then he had
that.
Then he had like that god awful game towards the middle of the season, a little after, and we were like, okay, never mind, we ain't got to pay him that much. You know.
You could go back and see me saying, why are we drafting quarterback this year? Why not wait to see what we have to say?
Yeah.
See, and I don't even want them to have a hot seat because of Sam Darnold. I go back before that. I don't even calculate the whole Sam Darnold decision into my thinking of, oh my gosh, please.
So Cody, with the success that Sam Darnold's having, and even though I think it's best they stay on the route of going with JJ McCarthy and either riding or dying with that, do you think this actually puts more pressure on the Vikings to go out and make a splash at quarterback?
I think you'd have to make a splash at quarterback and not just a drip, if you know what I'm saying. If you're gonna get a quarterback like Mac Jones or Kirk Cousins, and he comes in and he starts for the Minnesota Vikings, right? You totally wasted JJ McCarthy as a draft pick. You're saying, hey, this guy is going to be a backup quarterback for the rest of his career until he moves on from Minnesota. That's just in my opinion, right? I get it. Jordan Love had to sign his fifth-year option after third, or they didn't sign a fifth-year option. They just re-signed him. But they knew what they had in Jordan Love going forward. I don't think they honestly know what they have in JJ McCarthy right now. So they're not going to extend him, right? And they might not even sign him up for his fifth-year option because that thing comes around already missing that third season because the starter's in here May 1st of 2027 is when he has to get picked up for that. So they have to make a splash. In my opinion, if they want to move on from JJ McCarthy, it has to be a splash. If they want to keep JJ McCarthy, then he has to be the starter with some competition. And that's when you're talking about Mac Jones and Kirk Cousins. You don't want to bring them in as the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings.
And I see some people in the comments still saying the Vikings could have just signed Sam Darnold at $30 million this season. They tried to. There is lots of information out there saying that the Vikings did make him an offer that was similar to what the Seahawks paid him, but the Seahawks put more years onto it, which the Vikings weren't going to do with JJ McCarthy in the wings. But they did offer Sam Darnold starter money to be our starter this season, or at least to compete for the starter. I'm going to say to be the starter because if they're offering him $30 million, they weren't doing that for the backup role. But
that says a lot.
Added more years to it. And someone said, what about franchise tag? Franchise tag was over $50 million. That wasn't ever really an option.
And all of that on the cap that year when you franchise tag him.
Yeah,
there is no diffusion of the money.
And that's a big tell, too, saying, hey, JJ McCarthy wasn't ready because we're willing to pay this guy all this money to come start instead of bringing in another bridge quarterback if we thought he wasn't ready. So that right there is a tell to me that JJ McCarthy might not be the future of the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, you also got to remember, it's not like not only was he a rookie, but he missed his whole rookie season. So we have to account for, him actually missing a whole year of football and then having to relearn how to basically do 3-step, 5-step dropbacks because he tore his meniscus. So he probably took a step back from his rookie year, because of the injury.
T-Bass, it's different when you're dealing with this with the franchise tag. The franchise tag hits your cap all at once. You can't just say, okay, we're going to give him $50 million, but we're going to put some of that money into next year. You don't have that luxury of doing that. Like Sam Darnold was getting paid $33 million for the Seahawks this year, but he was only a $13 million cap hit because they had those other 2 years where they could put money, down the line. It's different. They could not have done the franchise tag. That wouldn't have worked out. So let me ask you guys this. Do you guys want to see Sam Darnold win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, why not? Why not win it?
I'm completely indifferent. Like I said, I couldn't give a shit.
What about you, Shaq?
For me, I would love to see Sam Darnold win the Super Bowl. Just so I could go look up Kirk Cousins highlights and be like, damn, 6 years of nothing. And Sam Darnold did it with us for 1 year, then went on the next year to win a Super Bowl. Must be nice.
Yeah, but he didn't do it with us, Shaq.
Oh, because, we didn't sign him. We're too busy wasting money on Kirk Cousins and then trying to develop a quarterback. So
we might not be done wasting money on Kirk Cousins, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, Shaq, I hate to break it to you, buddy. A couple weeks ago I said it. Just don't worry about it. Kirk Cousins going to be a Minnesota Viking this year, and those signs are starting to point to it, man.
I also want to bring up the Sam Darnold thing. If we sign him to all that money, I don't think we have a top 5 defense. I think you're going to lose some of the pieces.
I do. And let's talk about the franchise tag, then maybe not. But if we sign him to like a 3-year deal like the Seahawks did, and we push money down, he'd be playing like on a $13 million contract, right? Cap hit this year. The defense would have been fine.
Yeah, if we had 3 years.
But then you're committing to him for more than 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a bad situation to be in. It was you're either going to ride with Sam Darnold and you're just going to bail on JJ McCarthy before you even see what you have, or you're going to stick to the plan. And they stuck to the plan, and like I said, I think they still need to do that. As far as Sam Darnold win the Super Bowl, yeah, I want to see it. I don't hate Sam Darnold at all, actually. If he wins the Super Bowl, that's great. He seems like a really good dude. Bird watching nerd. He's been through a lot in his career. I didn't like him at USC. I really didn't. I thought he was kind of cocky, arrogant guy. But then he kind of got humbled in the NFL, and he really took his lumps, and he seems like a good dude and a good teammate. So I can root for that. The only reason I don't is just don't want to deal with the Viking fans. I'm sorry. I just don't want to deal with that because there's no contextualizing at all. It's just like he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback and we let him go. Like there are levels to this.
I just need Dragos to be on when we go live next time if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah. If you add 1 year and you pay him all that same amount of money, you're not signing Byron Murphy, or you're not going to be signing Will Fries, or you're not going to be signing both Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen. Like one of those 3 has to go. And with the lack of depth at corner we had this year, it would be pretty rough. Byron Murphy didn't play too bad for this defense, if you really think about it. And then missing those 2 big pieces on the defensive line, even though one played lackluster and was mid-tier, you're still missing those pieces that could have filled gaps within that defensive line. I don't see the defense being good with Sam Darnold signing the 1 year.
Yeah, I think we would have had all the same players, but
Wait a minute, Cody, did you say we couldn't have had Byron Murphy and Jonathan Allen?
No. It's one of the 3. So you're missing Byron Murphy.
I wish we would have signed him just for that.
But you would have had we had what, 3 corners on the roster this year? Like you're down to 2. Now you got to elevate McDlothern or something. You're going to be missing that one piece.
But we wouldn't have had Byron Murphy at $22 million a year.
It was sitting back.
There are a lot of cornerbacks that got signed that were better than Byron Murphy this year. That got signed for less money than Byron Murphy did.
Isaiah Rodgers being one of them.
He had one good game and couldn't tackle a crap for the rest of the season.
He had one,
but he still played better than Murphy.
One bad game.
Murphy was steady.
Ramsey could have had Ramsey.
Crap. All right, well, let's go ahead and bring on our guest. We got You know, we like to bring on a Viking content creator every week during the off season. And right now we got Purple and Gold Bars. What's up, Freddie?
What's going on,
What up,
gentlemen?
dude?
Hey,
Man, it was great to meet you guys at Skol Fest, man.
Yeah, it was. You were having a great time.
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Going
man.
live and everything.
It was great, man. I was having a good time, you know.
Yeah, I remember you. You're the one that put us on your thing, and then it was just like bouncing out, going to eat. And we were just like,
I was going wild, boys. I was going wild. You know what I mean?
Hey, let's go, guys. Here.
Yeah, I just it was a good time, man. It was a good time to meet you guys. You guys are good dudes. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you boys.
So, what are your thoughts on this whole Sam Darnold thing?
You know, I'm a little bit on the indifferent side, like Fish. You know, it doesn't really matter one way or another, because before the season last year, I felt like I was one of the only guys that was like, let him do what he can do. You know what I mean? And I was kind of okay with him. I wasn't like shouting at the top of the roof, you know, that he's going to be the best quarterback in the league or nothing like that. But I was like, hey, you know, we got a solid team around him. He should do okay. You can't go top of the draft and not have some skill sets to be able to work with, right? So it was just, we'll see how he works with his floor, because we know he's got a high ceiling. You don't go number one without having a high ceiling. His floor got beat down so bad in New York and then everywhere else that he was before Shanahan and KOC got a hold of him. So I was like, hey, you never know. I played Moneyball with it, and I predicted on the high side a 15-win season and on the low side a 10. So he ended up winning 14. I was really happy. I like the guy, so I want him to do good, even though I'm pretty critical, because I know what he is as well. Like, it's easy to say, you know, oh, we'd be in the Super Bowl, you know, now, but after the season last year, I think everybody expected the Eagles to be a good team. Who else that just fell apart? The Commanders, you know what I mean? All these teams, the Lions, you know what I mean?
the Lions. Thank
They're
you.
supposed to be really good, that have Sam Darnold's number, you know, and all of a sudden they just fell off, right? So had we known that everybody was going to be trash and it would be, you know, the 49ers with half a roster and the Bears in there, you know, squeaking in on a last place schedule. But, you know, I would have been like, hey, let's keep him. But we wouldn't have known. And I'm happy that he landed in a good place. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? He had one bad game and one good game. And that's kind of Sam Darnold in a nutshell, right? You know, first game of the season, he's marching down against the 49ers, about to win a game, and he fumbles the ball for the loss. You know what I mean? So it's just who he is, you know. I don't know how he's going to do in this playoffs. Sorry, my voice is a little raspy. I just got back from vacation. I was in Miami and then I was in Phoenix. So doing some family stuff. So I was doing a little bit of clubbing and partying. So my voice is a little bit off, but yeah, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Keith, I don't like this guy. He knew who was coming on, and he was derelict. You let his voice go to crap. I don't like him.
But I didn't know. You only got a text a couple days ago, and I was already like partied out after a couple of weeks. So you know what I mean? I can't say no when Keith comes a calling. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Trust me.
I'm glad you joined us, and it seems you've got some fans in the chat right now, but there are some people out there who are not familiar with you. So for those who aren't, tell us a little bit about your channel and a little bit about how you became a Vikings fan. For
sure, yeah. I go by Purple and Gold Bars. The spelled just like my handle there is on the channel. I try to stay optimistic. I try to give logic, level-headed takes. I try not to make any videos where I take the expert role, like we need to run this offense or this defense or our corners need to be doing this, because frankly I would be lying. So I don't know the ins and outs that way. I just use my experience in just my everyday life and my careers to kind of base my judgments, and I try to look at it through a logic based lens, you know, and I try not to let hindsight or bias get the better of me, even though we are Vikings fans. I actually got into football way late. I actually growing up thought football was kind of a dumb sport because, I was a bit of a pussy in high school. So I was like, who the hell would sign up to get hit? You know what I mean? I was like, that's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? And then in college, I got into MMA. I started training in boxing and striking. And my college roommate was like, bro, you're into MMA and all these contacts, UFC, like, why aren't you a football fan? I was like, I just thought it was stupid growing up and I've just never invested in it. And he showed me a highlight tape of Adrian Peterson. This was in 2008. So this was right after his rookie. So it was like a rookie year compilation. And there was one play where he literally, it looks like he stepped on air after trucking a dude. And then there was one where he carried he took 4 tackles, broke 2 or 3 tackles. He had one guy jump on his back, the second guy jump on his back, the third, and he just kept going. And I was heavy into lifting and all that stuff at the time. So I was like, I didn't know this kind of feats of strength or athleticism existed in the sport. I thought this was just meatheads hitting each other, right? And then that kind of got me into football. I used to be just more about the superstars. So in that era, was a big Julio Jones guy, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, just more of the superstar guys because I didn't understand football yet. And then I just watched the Vikings because Adrian Peterson was my guy. And slowly and surely, I became a Vikings fan. And yeah, it's just the almighty Adrian Peterson, man. After that torn ACL, MCL, LCL, and then coming back and running for 2000, I think that's when I really solidified myself as a Vikings fan. I got a Vikings tattoo, Vikings logo on my calf. I'm pretty hardcore. And yeah, that's just been my kind of, my origin story, I guess. From since then, I've just spent a lot of time going back, watching a lot of vintage football games. A big, massive fan of the Purple Eaters era. Alan Page, one of my favorite players. There's just so many amazing Vikings from that history that made me just even fall more in love with the Vikings, and I just haven't looked back ever since.
We do have a good history, especially as far as players go, not as far as winning titles, obviously.
Yeah, we don't have the greatest of luck. Kickers.
Are you in Minnesota? I mean, I know we met you in Minnesota, but I don't know.
I'm Canadian. I'm Canadian, so I'm actually an hour away from Detroit. So at that time when I started getting into football, the two teams were the Bills and the Lions, and they were hot garbage at that time. So it was like, I'm not going to fall. I grew up as a Maple Leafs fan, and they completely destroyed my fandom. I just don't watch hockey anymore because of the Maple Leafs. I got a little bit into it when Jonathan Toews won the World Juniors and everything with that incredible shootout performance and whatnot. And then we went to the Blackhawks. I tried to become a Blackhawks fan, but the Leafs just destroyed my hockey fandom, so I don't really watch hockey anymore. And Vince Carter era, so that's my kind of basketball background too. So I just became a Vikings fan and never looked back. I've been to 6 or 7 games now. And when I'm in Minnesota, man, it feels like
I got a very important question for you.
Yeah.
Actually, what is your record in going to Viking games?
I've been to the thing is that I've been to more preseason games than regular season games, and I'm 1-1 on regular season games, and I think I'm 2-3 on preseason games because I used to go to the third preseason game of the season because that was before when we had 4 preseason games. That was the dress rehearsal, remember, where first half the starters used to play and then they'd get the 4th week off, right? So I'd like to go then, that way I could get a good feel of what the team was going to be like. Plus it was difficult during work, in the summer it's a lot easier to go, and family, and it's easier and stuff, but 1-1. This last one was horrible.
I would say, was a Falcon game, is that your one loss?
That was my one loss in the regular season. Yeah,
Shaq, you're ruining it for everybody.
So wait a minute, your only regular season loss was the game that Keith went to?
Yeah.
Hey, he's only been to one win. He's 1-1.
Yeah,
My first game was a win too.
Unfortunately, my first game was with Keith.
My first home game was with Keith also.
My first loss ever in a Vikings game was with Keith. I'm 8-1.
one of the most exciting wins, though, that I was ever at in person was actually a preseason game. It was against the 49ers. And I got because in the first half, we were getting stomped. And so we had club access. So I was down in the club area just drinking my ass off because I was like, this is a loss. Who cares? And I just wanted to be down there when all the players left the field. So I was getting hammered when we made a comeback. And at the very last play of the game, Taylor Heineke scrambled to the right, dove in for the game-winning touchdown as game expired. And I was just plastered and just losing my mind. Diggs signed my jersey. I got to
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was an awesome. I actually saw Diggs at the Mall of America the day before as well, but I was completely starstruck. I was like, I just pointed at him. I was with my girlfriend at the time, and I look over and I was like, that's Stephon Diggs. And I was just like mouth wide open, just pointing at him. And he looked at me and he gave me like the thumbs up, and then he just walked. He was with two of his buddies. And I was just like, what the you know what I mean?
You about to say something else.
And I was like, this is because this was this was before. That was the year of the Minneapolis Miracle, if I'm not mistaken. That is
the same year. Because you said something about Taylor Heineke, and I was so mad when he got hurt because he looked so good in preseason.
Yes,
and then next thing you know, he breaking indoors with his foot, and he out for the season.
So he was plastered like Freddie was. That's
I was because I was like, there's no way we're going to win this game. We were down huge. Brian Hoyer was the quarterback, I think, if I'm not mistaken. He started for the 49ers that preseason game, and we got hammered to start the game. And so I just went down to the club area and I just started drinking all the free beer. You know what I mean? So before I
love the fact that when he said we got hammered, you could mean that two different ways.
Yeah, the team was getting smoked on the field and I was getting smoked in the clubhouse. So it was a good time, man. But then we won. It was funny because I wasn't even in my seats. I was just down there and I look over and I'm like, we're gonna win this? What the hell? So I'm like watching on one of the screens, holding a beer because I wanted to be on the railing for when the team came off, right? Because as soon as the team comes off the field, everybody swarms over there and you can't get up to the front. And so I really wanted to try to get Diggs's autograph, and he saw me again. He recognized me, and he signed my jersey. So it was one of my favorite Vikings memories. The first Vikings game I ever went to was actually in Detroit. And I went to a Vikings game with a buddy of mine, and that was the game where we started the game with a kickoff return, and then in the second half, the Lions went 3-and-out, and then we returned it for a punt return to start the second half, and we smoked them. Like, I put my jacket on because I was like, man, I was on the Detroit side too, so I was like, I don't want anybody to see me that I'm a Vikings fan. I'm in Detroit, but
you got worried about that?
This is a different era, though. Like, I guess nowadays, maybe, because people are so triggered, and you know what I mean? Like, people do some crazy stuff. But like I think it was in it was like 2009, 2010, somewhere around there is when I went. So, but yeah, you never know. You know, Detroit's kind of known for being a little wild. You know what I mean? So I just wasn't tempting my luck, even though I was with the Lions fan and he was in Lions gear. So. But yeah, Adrian Peterson ran amok. He ran like 200 yards that game too, so it was awesome.
Someone already mentioned something in the chat, and I had the same kind of question. How did you come up with your podcast name, your handle? What was the when and where and how did that thing come up with?
I started with bars because my thing was I wanted to just drop bars. Like, you know, that was kind of like a popular term back in the day. And actually, I wanted to start the channel the year that we went to the playoffs and played against the Giants. And I had spent basically I'd started making a thank you video like a for the season and just wanted to make like a hype video for the end of the season, you know, super proud for the team. And then we got smoked by the Giants, so I totally just scrapped that video and just didn't even start the channel. And then when the thing with the Vikings is that we never stop trying to win, and we're top 3 all time in franchise wins. We've tried everything. We've tried, the purple people eaters with massive defenses and pass rush and stuff. We've tried bringing in old quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins and whatnot. We've tried through a generational talent with AP. We literally try every which way. And I was like, man, we really need to draft a lottery pick quarterback and rebuild, right? And then we drafted JJ McCarthy, and that was the quarterback that I wanted. So I spent a lot of time. But in hindsight, had I known the work ethic that Jaden Daniels had, I would have wanted him over JJ McCarthy, because for me, it was the accuracy that was the factor in comparison to all of them. Because I saw a lot of the highlights. I watched like hours of highlights I didn't watch Caleb because I knew he was going to go first overall. And I watched a little bit of Jaden, but I watched Michael Penix, Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy, and Drake May in all of their college highlights. And the thing with Drake May that caught me was like, yeah, he had a lot of Showtime plays, but there were so many times where the receiver had to make some crazy adjustments in order for the play to work. And had the defender not played where the ball should have been, he would have come up with a stop. So I was like, has a big body and all the intangibles. I was like, the accuracy just wasn't there for me. And after watching Lamar, like I love Lamar, like Lamar's one of my favorite quarterbacks, but I know what he is as well. He's got really terrible accuracy, and I just didn't want us to be stuck with a inaccurate quarterback, especially with the coach that we have that decides to throw the ball a lot. You know what I mean? So
you might have just said the greatest Vikings take of all time when you said we tried everything. We have tried
literally every approach.
Generational running back, generational wide receiver. We tried drafting a quarterback in the first round. We had immovable offensive lines. We had hellacious defenses, and we had a veteran quarterback behind those hellacious defenses. We come up just short, and it's like, what do we have to? It's next is you have to draft a generational quarterback, a John Elway or a Peyton Manning or something. That's crazy.
Or commit to a prototype or developmental quarterback that has a ceiling or the potential to have a ceiling, like I foresaw JJ having prior to the draft. You know what I mean? There was a lot of things with JJ that made me go, because at first I was like, when people say things like, oh, he's a winner at every level, I'm like, that doesn't mean anything, bro. Like, what is it? Like, who cares? You could have been playing in the middle of nowhere against nobody teams. That means nothing. So when I started looking into his background, and the first thing that stood out for me is that when the pandemic hit, he could have chosen, like a lot of young kids, to just take that year off. Because when you're committing yourself to try to make a professional team, you spend from like grade school or maybe even like pee-wee hockey or whatever all day, every day, thinking about hockey, practices before, camps, everything, right? So, a lot of kids took that time off. He didn't. He's like, screw this. I'm going to go to IMG where we got all the 5-star recruits, 4-star recruits, arguably the best division in high school football. And I'm going to go play there. And that was like, whoa, most guys wouldn't do that. They want to protect their draft stock. They want to keep that era of like, I'm the next guy sort of thing. I don't want to go play against hard opponents and then suck and then lose everything that I've worked so hard off. So that was a big thing. And then at IMG, when I watched his highlights, he made every throw. And so, I know, granted, it's not college level, it's not whatever, but when you get to the college, the next thing that made me go, I want him, is because he didn't have that ego that was like, I want to be the guy that wins the game for us. I want to be the reason we win a championship. I don't care that we have Blake Corum. I don't care that we have Aiden Hutchinson. I don't care that we have all this incredible talent. I want to be the guy. I want to throw for 300 yards every game and be the guy that everybody talks about at the end. He was like, I'm just going to do what we need to do to win. And that mentality is lost in modern football. So those are the things that made me want JJ. And then when we got him, I was like, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but the ceiling is what I want. And we just have to develop a quarterback. And a lot of people want a rookie quarterback to develop until you have to develop a quarterback. And
Freddie, let me kind of let me kind of take it to another area, because a lot of times we ask people about, something to do with the history of them and the team, about their fandom. I'm a little different on this one because I know you went to Skol Fest. It was our first time at Skol Fest. I don't know about you.
That was mine too.
But so you were heavily involved with it, going live and all that. What was your favorite part of Skol Fest?
For me, it was meeting all the content creators and getting to touch base with fans. There's people that just like grabbed me. It was like, hey, and I was like, I was not expecting anybody because I only had like 150 subscribers at that point. You know what I mean? So I know I'm still growing. I'm still small, right? So it was really cool to see. I got to meet JJ. I got to meet his mom, which is a really awesome lady. And JJ's, JJ Vikings, for if you guys know him or whatnot, he's a pretty cool dude. Like to be that young and be that devoted to wanting to be, hey, Purple Passion. That's right. For him wanting to be, so committed, a man of Christ. I'm a godly man as well, right? So I'm a Christian, and for him to be so devout and to be so committed to what he wants to become, I just think it was very inspirational. Got to meet Rap, got to meet a bunch of people. So that was honestly the most important part for me. The event was great. The music was awesome. It was just awesome in general.
Yeah, it was a good time. Like I didn't know what to expect. I just heard that there was a Skol Fest, and at first, when I first heard about Skol Fest, I thought it was like something. Oh, that's just what they do in Minnesota. They call it Skol Fest the weekend before the Vikings game, and like just everywhere it's just cracking. Like, no, man, like these dudes kind of just started this, themselves, and like it's like a grassroots thing. And it's been growing and growing and growing, and like every year they need to get a bigger venue. So that was actually really cool to be a part of, because after that we kind of tried to go around and find other Viking fans that were out partying and stuff, and they weren't. That was the spot where it was happening.
Absolutely. It's funny because it's a guy from North Carolina that schedules and hosts a Skol Fest in Minneapolis. You know what I mean? So, big ups to Rap. I call him our fearless leader, because from I got tapped into the Purple Gang through Zoe, right? So, and then by proxy, watching just like everybody gets, through the algorithm gets shown, and that's how I found you guys, right? So it was just awesome. Rap is a great dude. Everybody, like all the loyals from his chat and stuff that I got to meet, it was just stand-up people. Being Canadian, when I'm in Minnesota, it feels like I'm in Canada because everybody's so polite, don't you know? And
you guys all sound alike. I mean, you sound like you're from Minnesota. Like the first time I went to Minnesota, I was like, man, they all sound like they're talking in Canadian.
It's because they are extremely polite, very kind-hearted people.
Talking in Canadian.
Yeah.
I can stand behind that 100%.
Okay, Fish, I heard it. Okay, I didn't need it to be repeated.
But I got these perceptions pre-pandemic, because that's why I went to more Vikings games. This last time, Minnesota felt a little bit different, but then again, I didn't spend as much time going to the outlet malls or doing a bunch of shopping and just sightseeing and exploring. So I didn't get to connect with people. I was there more just for Skol Fest and the crew. So I couldn't tell you if it's still that way, but I remember what it was like, late from 2015 to 2020. That's when I spent a lot of time going. Man, they were super polite back then. So I don't know if things have changed. You guys can let me know in the comments.
I think next time me and you need to get on that silent auction and win one of them signed autographed jerseys.
Absolutely.
Hats on it, and we'll just split it up every summer.
There you go.
I'm going to play a video. Let me know if you guys saw this. I'm sure you did, but I did want to touch on it tonight.
I wanted Brian Flores to be the next coach of the Browns, but obviously either he's not interested or they're not interested. I don't know. I know he has that reputation. You worked with him. He was tough on the players in Miami, and I think he's been vindicated. What's your thoughts on Coach Flores?
Probably not many that I would prefer to share. I mean, we didn't see eye to eye on
Okay.
a lot of things, and that's why I spent this past year on offense. I was there in 24 and 25, or 23 and 24 on defense. So, I'll take the high road on that one.
So what'd you think when you heard that one, Michael Fish?
Let's see, a disgruntled former employee taking his parting shots because he couldn't get his way. And I made a meme, I'm something of a 3-4, DC too. The Spider-Man meme. Look, I think he wanted to say some stuff, and B-Flow was just like, get out of my face. And he kept making the defense perform, and Pettin kept trying to give his influence, and B-Flow kept saying, get out of my face. Like you said, he spent his time on the offense, right? What was the problem last year? Was it the offense or the defense?
Well, to be fair, Fish, we don't know what anybody does on the offensive side of the ball that's not KOC. We don't know what he lets.
You're right. So I would not go, well, I spent my time on the offense. I'd have probably been like, look, man, I was watching YouTube videos the whole season because, he was doing his thing and, whatever. I mean, that'd have been a better indictment of myself than saying I was part of that offense. I appreciating him clearing the path. And I can understand if he didn't get along with B-Flow, why he would take his parting shots. But the fact of the matter is, the reason that we had a winning record and the reason that we won the games we did in most of them, and the reason why we had that 5-game win streak was because B-Flow had that defense standing on their head. We overperformed. We over-delivered on defense last year. And it was basically because of B-Flow.
Yeah, I like how you said B-Flow kept telling him, get out of my face. There's something going around the media outlets right now is Mike Pettin told him to put a linebacker on a speed receiver, and Flores told him, no, you idiot. And so, there's that going on. So, yeah, get out of my face is probably the facts.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe at all that we're just taking B-Flow's side because we're Viking fans and we want him running our defense? I mean, B-Flow, does have a checkered past with other people that he's worked with before.
I mean, there's a possibility, but you also have to take into consideration the fact that he gave up the ghost himself when he said, yeah, I was on the offensive side of the ball. So the defense performed. The defense did well. And him admitting he was on the offensive side of the ball took away any possibility for him to try to claim anything about the defense performing. That defense was on B-Flow. It wasn't on anybody else. It was on him, and it's the reason why we won so many games. So
even if B-Flow's an ass, who cares as long as we win games?
I'm results orientated, and I don't give a damn what we got to do to win a Super Bowl. I don't care if we got to knock off a bus of nuns to get a Super Bowl. I want to do it.
So it's like this. You probably could basically say the same thing about Mike Zimmer before we hired him. The reason why he wasn't a head coach until we hired him was because a lot of people didn't like how he interviewed. I guess he was too straightforward, and he wasn't like a people pleaser. He was a no nonsense coach, kind of like I guess Cody could attest to it. A lot of people won't like drill sergeants, but their job is to get you ready. It's not to be your friend. It's that tough love, and not everybody can deal with that tough love. And I could see B-Flow having that old school tough love.
Yeah, I mean, I can't totally dismiss that, maybe he is kind of an ass and maybe hard to work with, though. I mean, he's been interviewing for head coaching jobs the last 3 years, and you can say what you want about lawsuits. He's still getting the interviews, but he's not landing them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there probably is some sour grapes because, Pettin retired. So that might have been part of the condition for B-Flow to return, that he didn't want Pettin.
Yeah.
I don't think it was retirement. I think he got sat down and said, "Hey, man, you can take the high road or you can take the low road. We're moving Flores into this assistant.
We're moving in a different direction."
Yeah,
I think it was
You're
funny that he
right.
said like he kind of aired some dirty laundry, then said, "I'm taking the high road." Like that was kind of funny. It's like the high road would have just been like, you could even said we didn't see eye to eye, but you could have said something, followed up with something good. But he is very good at what he does, and he's got that defense going. He could have done that, but he didn't. So, I mean, he didn't help himself at all. But I don't know. There could be something to it because we've heard stuff from people that he's worked with in the past, but obviously KOC doesn't see a problem. The Wilfs don't see a problem. So I guess I shouldn't have a problem.
And the thing is, Keith, I've said it to you guys before. Maybe we could use a little bit of some of that fear-based organization, just a little bit. Maybe this kumbaya shit ain't work. Okay, so if there's a little bit of that fear-based, just a tickle of it to make you realize that if you don't do your job, I'm gonna get in your ass. And look at what side of the ball was performing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe Mike Pettin was bought into the whole kumbaya. Let's all sing campfire stories around the fire, and we're going to do this all positive. And B-Flow might be the one guy that's saying, no, I'm going to do me. And he's kind of the shining star.
I think
KOC. Lo says, I need my coach to be an asshole. There's no room for sunshine and rainbows in football. But, I mean, isn't that our head coach?
Supposed to be.
And who do I have a problem with on the coaching staff?
I'm just saying. Is Lo saying she's anti-KOC?
Just come out and say it, Lo. Come on, let me say it.
What was that report, KOC? Remember we had trouble holding on to the football? I think it was Dalvin Cook. Kept constantly fumbling, and KOC's like, we're going to hold guys accountable. Yet he still started him.
Oh, Madison.
Quarter, nothing happened, right? So
the only person who saw the sideline was House with Legs there when he fumbled, like at the beginning of that game. He got set on this Oliver. He got put on the sideline for like a half, and he's the only one who saw a repercussion for turning the ball over.
Yeah. You need B-Flow in there to say, hey, man, you need to tighten up, a counterbalance to that niceness.
I'm gonna completely disregard what he said because when B-Flow got hired, because of all the BS that was said about him as he left Miami, it kind of was like, it made me apprehensive to be like, man, like if this guy's supposed to be like a locker room killer, if all these things are true, like I don't know if I want this on our team sort of thing. And then we were projected to be like 28th or something like that in defense. And then he made us at the end of that season with Ed Donatel's crew, a bunch of scrubs. Okay. He made them go finish the season like 16th overall, something like that, which is a massive jump just on scheme alone and his presence. And then I turned my head and was like, oh, okay. And then the following year we became a top 10 defense, and then we became a top 5 defense. And now 3-4 years later, come to find out that everything that B-Flow said was true, and everything else that everybody else was saying that was coming out in the media was all BS. So when it comes to stuff like that, I'm like, I'm going to side with my guy on this. I think he's just salty. And I think he's just, that's it. He's just being petty, and he wishes he could, hold his jockstrap, for lack of a better way of saying it. The guy, in my opinion, he is probably not on the same level as Spags, as in like he's got like that defensive mind, and he's so unique. B-Flow has his own style. He has his own theory. Like you don't know what he's going to do. It's all comes from his mind. And it all started from that defensive coordinator role that he took when he won the Super Bowl with the Patriots. When you go back and watch that defense, I was watching myself play Madden, and I realized I do a lot of show blitz. I do a lot of stuff because I learned how to play Madden watching that year of the Patriots and learning how Tom Brady ran an offense, and then just as proxy watching the Patriots play defense. So I show a lot of blitz, and I drop into coverage a lot and confuse opponents, and then come up with a lot of picks or come up with a lot of pressure, right? And I realized that he's been evolving this kind of like theory or this scheme for years now. And so as a result, he's unique. There's nobody else that can do what he does, just like Spags is. The way that he sees football, the way that he calls defense. Yeah, you know what? They both have their critiques. Spags, oh, he can't do it. You know, when his superstars are injured, the defense isn't playing that good. And then when with B-Flow, the middle of the field's open, we can't stop the run, but that's when his players are injured, his starters, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of similarities in that way, but they're not on the same level. I don't know yet if they're on the same level when it comes to football IQ or defensive IQ, but they're unique in their own way where nobody else does things their way. So that's why I put them up there. Some people, like before the Giants game, we were talking with some Giants content or creators, and they're like, who cares about the freaking the simulated pressures and all this and that? Like, we've seen that. We had, I forget their defensive coordinator the year before. He's like, we had him. He blitzed a lot too. We know what's coming. And then Jackson Dart threw for 33 yards. And I was like, really? You don't know what you're talking about? He's unique. Yeah, there's simulated pressure. That's just one aspect of his scheme. And he's just a fantastic coach. And I think that if, for me, mid-season next year, if things aren't, we're at an above 500 level, you know, if we're drowning in our own mistakes, I feel like it's going to be KOC's last year, and I think it's B-Flow's job after that, because I don't think he's going to get another coaching job outside of either Minnesota or him winning a Super Bowl with Minnesota and the defense being the reason why we win. Because in the words of the great George Carlin, he said, you know, when you don't need a formal conspiracy to have one, you know, when all these guys, all these owners, they hang out at the same country clubs, they part of the same, you know, they graduate from the same Ivy League schools, they all have the same mutual interest, and they know what's best for each other. So they don't need to have meetings and be like, well, we got to blackball Brian Flores. No, they just know what's best for them and their crew. So they're not going to allow a guy that's suing them for racism and trying to take money out of their pockets through the legal system and basically pissing all over them to allow him to become the coach of any team right now. And it's going to take literally him moving an immovable object, as in KOC, or winning a Super Bowl and the defense being the thing for a team to stand, you know, outside of the norm and be like, we'll take a chance on it, and we don't care if we're the black sheep of the league because he's got it. You know what I mean? So I didn't think he was going to get a job this season. I didn't think he was going to, you know, and that's the way that it's going, right? Everybody got hired really quick, and I'm just happy that we got B-Flow for the next few years, and through his defense, this team is going to evolve. That's what I believe.
Yeah. Did you notice, Freddie, like during the season, there were times where I thought I was looking at Mike Zimmer's double-A gap mug look again with what B-Flow was doing.
Sometimes, yeah, I don't know if he's pulling old tape and seeing what worked with certain types of players that we have that are similar to other guys. Because to me, another thing that also made me think about that, before Dallas Turner got his opportunity to be an edge rusher again, he was reminding me a lot of Anthony Barr. He was doing all the stuff that doesn't show up on the freaking paper, and he was just everywhere, filling in gaps, just doing all the dirty work that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. And I was like, what the hell is going on here, you know? And then we saw him get some pass rushing duties when Grenard got injured. And I was like, oh, okay. And last year, before, you know, a lot of people were like, he's a bust, this and that. I'm like, yeah, but B-Flow's system, you need to know the system. You can't just be drafted and be such a dominant player and just be thrown in the mix. If you don't know how to run every aspect and know what to do when everything is called, you're not going to get played on the field, even if you are the best pass rusher on the team. You know, like if you can't drop into coverage, if you don't know what to do in certain situations, you're going to be sitting on the pine, especially for B-Flow, right? So, and then at the end of the season, he started getting more reps because he started understanding the defense. And then this year he's flourishing and he's looking good. And I'm excited to see what he does next year.
Cody, do you think that Brian Flores ends up getting that assistant head coach title. Like, we haven't heard anything about it yet. Maybe they're waiting to see if he does or doesn't get a head coaching job. I don't think he will. I think the only one open now is the Cardinals, because I think the Rays are pretty much settled on Kubiak, and I think he interviewed with the Cardinals last year, so I don't see that happening this year. So pretty much he's with us. Do you think they're going to end up giving that title, or do you think maybe KOC's like, I don't need an assistant head coach?
I think he already has that title right now as we're speaking. I think it's already in place. It's just you don't hear about those little things. Like, we're missing all sorts of coaches that we didn't know we had coaches for right now. Like, I think it's up to 5 we still need on this team. So it's like one of those situations. I do think he's going to be the assistant coach, and I do think he is the assistant coach right now. It just, we don't know about it.
Yeah. And he probably got paid too.
Oh yeah.
Like, I wonder if we're ever going to hear those numbers.
I don't think so.
No,
Are you guys surprised that he didn't get the Steelers job and that they actually went with Mike McCarthy? Like, that one kind of seemed out of left field to me.
I thought,
compared to like who they were interviewing, then all of a sudden it's Mike McCarthy.
I thought for sure that was the team that was going to take a chance on him, because they don't care. The Rooneys have like FU money. You know what I mean? So they don't care if they, become the black sheeps. They'll do whatever they want. So I was like, that's when Mike Tomlin stepped down, I was like, oh crap, I think we might actually lose him here. This is not good. And then they hired Mike McCarthy, and I was like, okay, B-Flow's with us for the next few years at least. So that's when I finally got to relax on Brian Flores. But because I know that we're going to be in a hell of a lot of hurt if we lose B-Flow, especially when we're trying to evolve an offense and put together a vision that hasn't even come close to being put to fruition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if B-Flow went into that negotiation with the Steelers and was like, so here's what the Vikings have offered me to stay on as their DC. What y'all think about that? And the Steelers were like, oh, no.
He did accept an offer a week prior, and he signed right after the Steelers meeting, second interview. So, yeah, it could be something.
They told him that he wasn't going to get the job. But what I found interesting was that he actually took that interview with the Washington Commanders for their DC position, and obviously he didn't take that. But his understudy, Durante Jones, did take that job to become the Commanders' defensive coordinator. So I wonder if, Flores just took that interview to kind of speak up Durante Jones, or if the Washington brought him in because they wanted to learn about Durante Jones, because the Commanders, they have a defensive head coach. So I can't imagine Brian Flores, a seasoned veteran defensive coordinator, going in there with a defensive-minded head coach that, it's like going to be a whole petting thing again. But that was kind of interesting to me that he did take that interview, and that's where Durante Jones ended up going, because Jones ended up being a really hot name. And last year we kind of laughed about the whole Grant Udisky thing when he left to go be the Jaguars offensive coordinator. Like, oh, Grant Udisky, who is that guy? Like, I didn't even know he was on this team. But very funny. He became a hot name as far as a potential head coach this year, and our offense went down. So I'm not discounting any assistant coaches and what their impact might have been. So I hope that he wasn't a big part of our defense. I hope we don't find that out.
That's a great point. Yeah. Because it's hard to tell how much B-Flow delegates, right? He spends a lot of time crafting up the scheme and the game plans, and how much he delegates for the coaches to actually work the team to get them ready to do what he wants them to do. In the positional coaches, how much they play a big factor. But hopefully, because B-Flow is one of those guys that he needs to be the guy that drafts his players. He needs to be the guy that chooses his free agent defensive players. And I think he needs to be the guy that interviews and chooses his coaching staff, because you can't just be a really talented anything and then assume that you're going to be playing good in B-Flow system. So before that, like on my season finale show with Q-Dog, I said, the Wolves better just give him a blank check. Tell him, yo, and like, tell him, bro, if this doesn't work out with KOC, you're going to be the head coach. Like, keep this under wraps between us. But this is what's going to happen if things go sour. but and say you got all the first say and the only say on who we draft at defense, who we pick up as defensive free agents. Screw what Kwesi says. You are the one that runs that defense, and just give him full control because he deserves it, man. Like, to go from what we had with that Donatel to a top 5 and at times looking like a top 3 defense, like, he deserves it.
Yeah, well, let's hope like that's what the Wolves told him, that you're gonna have control over free agents and over the draft picks on the defense, and let's hope he didn't already have that previously.
Yeah, we don't know. That's the thing when you don't know what's behind the closed doors.
What if it's been him making these draft picks and these free agent calls, and they just haven't been working out? Like, we don't know.
What do you think is crazy that when we watched the Harrison Smith final game or supposedly final game, there's like a lot of us that said he could be a coach on this team, and who did we just lose? The safeties coach, the DBs coach, the pass game defensive coordinator, manager, or whatnot you call him. Could Harrison Smith possibly fill that role, since it is a lower entry level role to put him in to start with?
Well, that depends. Is he done playing football?
No, we still don't even know what his what his preseason illness was, right? Or start of the season illness was. Like, what happened there? You know, nobody still knows. Was it something serious, or was he just tired and didn't want to freaking, wasn't in shape and needed time to get? We don't know.
Well,
right?
it did seem like he got stronger as the season went on, and so maybe he doesn't want to go out with the season like that. But Shaq, you got sources. What are you hearing?
I'm hearing that he's gonna come back. He's probably not gonna sign yet, or announce he's coming back until probably maybe like closer to the draft. He's probably gonna take his time because there's no rush to announce, "Oh, I'm coming back this year." Right? What's the rush on telling us? He has all the way into literally preseason.
And if he was going to retire, that could have been announced. There's no reason not to say that, right? So
pretty much.
So at least there's a decision still to be made by him. He hasn't made the decision yet.
The defense is different.
Imagine if he announces his retirement after the draft. And that maybe puts the kibosh on us trying to do something like move up for Caleb Downs.
No, I don't think we do anything thinking about him. I mean, because I think he becomes like you said, he can become a coach, but he's just a coach on the field.
He basically is.
Mm-hmm.
When him and Cashman are out there,
it's kind of like me when I coach my daughter's 6-year-old team. We're in the outfield and we're telling them what to do when the ball gets hit. So he's kind of
the similarities.
Absolutely, the same thing. It's the same thing. Yep, absolutely. I get it.
I did want to bring up though. People was bashing up B-Flow, but one person who does stick up for B-Flow is Harrison Smith.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think Harrison Smith's not the type of guy to just sugarcoat or lie, just to lie for a teammate. I feel like he's honest when he talks about what B-Flow does for the defense and what he likes about him.
Oh, no doubt about it. I think if B-Flow ended up going and taking the Steelers job, we would have heard Harrison Smith retire the next day, or we would have heard Harrison Smith intends to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Well, Shaq, I think also, Harrison Smith, he's seasoned, right? He comes from a time when you could do different stuff playing defense, so he's kind of got a different attitude where he's had to adjust. So a no-nonsense style of coaching probably fits him very well.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we had Terrence Newman out there at the ripe old age of 39 or whatever it was, so maybe he can be our next Terrence Newman.
I would just love.
I miss Terrence Newman, buddy.
Terrence Newman was a coach on the field, but he was still a solid player too.
Yeah.
I would love Harrison Smith at that coaching position of the DB's coach, because like you said earlier, Gold Bars, you said, how much control does Brian Flores have? So how is Durante Jones doing things? Harrison Smith doesn't need hardly any much control. He can learn that first year, you know what I'm saying? So that'd be something pretty cool to see if that does.
Look, buddy, and it's a fishism. I've already heard Harrison Smith's coaching style. Sign me up.
Mm-hmm.
Cover your fucking guy.
I would love to. He's one of my favorite players of all time, for sure. So to have him in the building, whether it's playing in limited fashion, or being a coach, positional coach, I would be through the roof, just happy with that, man. He's just a stand-up guy. He's the type of player that as a fan you just love. He never complains. He's a gentleman. He's never causing trouble. He's never got any rumors about him. He's just a quiet family man that does his job, and he does it at a high level, and he controls things on the field, man. It's unreal.
So yeah, it'd be good to have him back. Also on the coaching side, last week I was pounding the table for offensive line coach Dwayne Ledford. Well, he ended up signing with the Ravens, so Vikings missed out on that one. And now it sounds like the Vikings might just stay in-house and promote Keith Carter, who was an assistant offensive line coach last year. And I don't know if you guys remember when we originally signed him, a few of his former players came out and kind of spoke against him, kind of in the same way Brian Flores had been talked about from former players. He's kind of a no-nonsense guy and coaches hard. And some of his former players says that contributed to older players' injuries because he works them so hard in practice. So I don't know, maybe that's another sour grapes thing, but he didn't come with a great reputation. But my question is, do we really want to keep this in-house and stick with the guy who's been a part of this offensive line that we think was a major weakness for this team? Or would you like them to go out and get somebody fresh?
Good, Brian.
Well, I tell you what, much like in the hero arc of B-Flow, right? Did he learn something? Did he learn how to find a certain level of moderation? Because, okay, what did the former players say, Keith? They said that his instillment of work ethic on the offensive line caused older players to get injured. Great. Our offensive line is pretty damn young, except for, on the right side, right tackle. I'm not thrilled. I'm not excited, but I do look at the possibility of, okay, wait a minute. Maybe there might be some accountability if he's the offensive line coach on the offensive line. And even if it's just on that part of the offense where there's some actual real accountability, it could help the offense grow by leaps and bounds.
Okay.
I wonder.
Fish doesn't want good cop, bad cop. He wants all bad cops.
Well, I'm kind of with the Keith Carter hiring, keep it in-house, because I'm thinking as your Minnesota Viking, you let go your offensive line coach, right? How did your offensive line steadily get better through those last weeks and the end of the season, right? Like it goes tremendously better than it was at the beginning of the season. Did the assistant head offensive line coach maybe take over because the other offensive line coach was incompetent and couldn't do the job? And that's why he was let go and we're bringing him up. So it's like we don't know what happened in the background, but that if I had to guess, that's what I think might have happened.
That's a fair assessment. The only other name that I've heard them mention is the guy from the Miami Dolphins, their defensive coordinator, I guess, or offensive coordinator. I guess he's available, and he's really known for developing tight ends. So that might be something to look out for. I mean, offensive line coach, again, not sexy, not exciting, but it's something that's happening.
Keith, I just want to say one thing, though. That if Keith Carter becomes the offensive line coach with his reputation, and Shaq, I'm sorry, I will be ending my bid to join the Minnesota Vikings offensive line. It's over.
I don't know. The way you've been working out lately, I think you could hang.
No, I couldn't. As a matter of fact, the way I've been working out lately is verifying the fact that I'm pretty far removed. Now, maybe if Ed Donatel was our offensive line coach, where maybe I could have been hidden a little bit, but as it stands right now, nope. My bid to join the team is over. I'm sorry.
But Fish, with our coaches and our scheme, you just might be able
That's the whole problem, Shaq, is with this coach.
And yeah, Rinaldi, I'm aware of this as he points out that our run game coordinator is actually like a former running back, and he works with the running backs, which I don't think that's too common. I think a lot of times the offensive line coach is also the run game coordinator. Not always, but I've seen that more common. So that could be a reason. Like maybe they want to hang on to this Curtis Modkins guy, and maybe other candidates were like, no, I want to do the run game, and the Vikings aren't giving that up. I don't know. That's an interesting dynamic.
Wish we had Eric Bieniemy.
I wanted Bill Callahan, but
Wes Phillips is still the OC, still not knowing what he does here.
Part of that witness protection program.
So let's address another rumor that's been popping up, which I find these rumors kind of funny because they involve trade talks, and teams can't talk trades right now. But there's people out there that say they have heard that the Vikings have already made trade offers for Joe Burrow. And one of those trade offers, it is JJ McCarthy, Jonathan Grenard, and 2 first-round picks for Joe Burrow.
I'll start.
Does that do anything for you guys right now, or is that just it's too unbelievable right now?
Absolutely not. Like, even if we kept all those guys except for JJ, let's say it was just a quarterback swap like that, we're more than just a quarterbacks away from being able to compete for a Super Bowl. We lack depth. You think with the O-line the way that it is, and having to improve, we need to get another center because has to retire. I don't care. I don't want him back, even though, he's done admirably to try to come back and work his way back, but that many concussions, you know what I mean? Like, if we just swapped in Burrow, like that's not gonna do us much more than what Sam did, get us to the playoffs and making a decent playoff run. But
I'm going to heavily disagree here.
Yeah, you too. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm way against you on that one.
Do I think that's going to happen and it's real? No, I don't. But do I think that we aren't just a Joe Burrow away from being a Super Bowl contender? No, I think we are. Especially our offensive line had played great towards the end of the season, and we do have a great offensive line when healthy. So as long as those guys stay healthy, yeah, we do need a center. But Brando, he played good at center. We don't know. We might have our center. We have 10 draft picks. We are going to go out and get a free agent. We don't have a lot of money, but we will sign somebody. We have one of the best receiving corps in the NFL. We have a good running back in Jordan Mason. Aaron Jones is good, but we might replace him. If we replace him, it's going to be somebody that's better than Aaron Jones. So, our offense is ready to roll. We have a top 5 defense. The only reason we're not in the playoffs is because of the quarterback play last year, and that was with the offensive line that we had. No, I think you put Joe Burrow in this team as constructed, we would be a top 5 Super Bowl contender in the books.
Yeah, 100%.
I know it's a total fallacy. I know it's a total fallacy, but trading Grenard helps mitigate the cap issues that I was concerned about. Dallas Turner emerged. He could jump in as that replacement, be good enough in his 3rd year. If that could somehow happen, we are immediately a Super Bowl contender, and not as just like hearsay, talent wise. With that guy as our quarterback, it's a fantasy, but we would immediately become Super Bowl favorites, and they would be predicting us to win the division next year.
Mm-hmm. It is a fantasy, but it's for sure. Right now, we're going to address all fantasies throughout this abyss, Fish.
Yeah.
No, I get what you guys are saying, and I'm not saying, on the high side, if everything goes perfect, yeah, of course, we could potentially win a Super Bowl with Joe Burrow, but I like to go through the middle of the pack. I feel like things are going to go wrong. Offenses, the things are just not going to go the way that we expect it to go. Like this year, I didn't foresee all these O-line injuries. I thought before the season started, I predicted it was going to be a roller coaster. I thought it was going to be a lot of growing pains. I didn't expect the growing pains to be a massive result on top of the O-line play, right? So I don't think it's going to be a low side either. I don't think it's going to be like the worst case scenario with Joe Burrow, but I think the surrounding cast and the depth would play a massive factor when things don't go perfectly. And I think if it goes just middle of the pack, I think that's where we end, 13, 14 wins, maybe a wild card win and a divisional round loss, maybe an NFC title loss. But
where do you see our depth problems being that would cause you to say that? I mean, like specifically?
O-line for sure. is the most,
Okay.
and then our defensive line is because like when we got gashed hard by the running game is because we had injuries in our linebacker crew in that secondary, right? And so when things like that like affect B-Flow's scheme, that puts a big weight on Joe Burrow's shoulder. You know what I mean? That means he's got to throw us out of a lot of games. And if it doesn't work out, so that's what I'm saying. There's just other things that would play a factor. I think, like, I'm not saying that he's not a great quarterback. To me, he's one of the top 5 best quarterbacks in the league. He's one of the most talented. That's not a shot at Joe Burrow or anything. I just think that we're more than just a superstar quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl.
I still can't get there because you keep talking about the offensive line and how bad the offensive line was. And yeah, we had like over 25 different combinations. We still won 9 games and we're a half game from making the playoffs with inconsistent JJ McCarthy and a pretty
Darisaw.
And that's even more evidence to show
so you're gonna tell me Joe Burrow wouldn't have done better.
No, but what I'm saying is that I'd rather stick with what we've committed over the last 4 years to go through and go through that. Because if we go and sacrifice a bunch of players, sacrifice a bunch of stuff, and it doesn't go that way, then what does that look like in the offseason when we get bounced or things just don't go right? What happens if Joe Burrow gets injured? You know what I mean? And then we end up 3 wins.
That's like, any team. What if any team star player gets injured? Like, what are the Chiefs going to look like without Patrick Mahomes? Like,
my point is that we had all those injuries and we still won 9 games because of the ingenuity and what this team could do with what we had. I don't think if we had Sam Darnold, we would have done much better than what we did without him. Like his ceiling is, or his floor is very similar to Carson Wentz's. Carson Wentz's ceiling is extremely low compared to Sam Darnold's, of course. But if you keep taking sacks, if you keep getting hit like Carson Wentz was doing, like even Sam Darnold's going to break too. We don't know what it could have turned out. I just think there's a lot more that we need in order to sustain a superstar quarterback for that to work. That's just the way that I see it.
I think we have enough to sustain the superstar quarterback, because you're talking about a superstar quarterback, not Darnold. So when you get into the playoffs, there's 2 things that get you to a Super Bowl. And you can only have one of them. It's a really, really good defense, or it's a quarterback that can put the team on his shoulders. And I've watched Joe Burrow put his team on his shoulders to lead him to a Super Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. Now, place the defense that we have right now. We're only giving up Greenard off that defense, and then add that superstar quarterback. That's a Super Bowl run, in my opinion, especially if they can make the playoffs. It's just making the playoffs is going to be the toughest.
And let's keep it real. It's probably only a 2-year run before we have to start cutting names. But
yeah, the thing is, injuries are such a big factor now. In the last few years since we cut the 2-a-day practices in the late 2000s, and then since we cut the 4th preseason game. These players are spending all off season and OTAs and then joint practices running at like 40% speed. And then they go into the season after running at that speed and then being asked to play at 120%, and then they're getting injured because their bodies aren't conditioned like they used to when they used to play twice, do 2-a-day practices and play 4 preseason games and get a full half. You know what I mean? So we're going to see a ton of injuries, especially in that's why we call the September, the extended preseason, right? So there's so much more volatility than previous seasons. So that's why I factor that in a little bit,
So we talked about injuries. So when I said this offseason, I said if JJ McCarthy goes down, season's over. I said right at the beginning of the offseason, it's over. There's no difference from Joe Burrow going down next year for our team than JJ McCarthy going down. Even if we do sign a veteran quarterback as the backup to finally have one, right? We're not making the playoffs if JJ McCarthy goes down with injury. So it's like, who would you rather have, this superstar quarterback or JJ McCarthy? If both of them get injured, it doesn't even matter. The season's over.
True. Considering how they were saying that JJ McCarthy's ceiling was Joe Burrow, and I don't know who said it, but I heard it being said, so it was said. let me just have Joe Burrow and get rid of a guy that could be a cap casualty and a trade candidate anyway to help mitigate it, and only give up 2 firsts to have our run. I'll take it. That scenario, like I said, fantasy, don't think it happened. But if that scenario could happen, I would be down for it, because you're not talking about Sam Darnold here. You're talking about a bona fide, probably top 3 quarterback in the league. I mean, who talent-wise, the ability to play and all that other stuff is better than him? Who, Mahomes and Allen?
Those are probably,
and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. End of story. Give me the number 3 quarterback in the league, and this team for 2 years, we're going to win a Super Bowl.
But there is a contingency on that. They have to sign Eric Wilson.
Yes.
Eric Wilson's a
and quite frankly, the losing the 2 first-round picks don't scare me at all, because our damn GM can't draft anyway. So
I was gonna say, maybe we should go if we're gonna go fantasy shopping. Let's go see what's up with Josh Allen. But now that he's keeping his offensive coordinator as his head coach, he ain't going anywhere. That's for sure. Bills are gonna steal Jefferson. Crazy.
It was reported a couple times. Well, first early in the season that, or like about 3/4 of the season, that even if the Vikings had lost out and won no more games after, I forget which week it was, like 10 or something like that, Kwesi and KOC, their jobs weren't even on the line, right? So the Wilfs believe on them that much. That leads me to believe that whatever vision or whatever game plan that they've sold them on, they're probably ahead of schedule for them to have that kind of confidence on them, right? And then on top of that, name another coach that could have gone through what we went and won more than 4 games. There's really not that many, if any, that were up for head coaching jobs, should I say. So it's one of those things, right? But we've already spent so much time investing in this process, right? To bring Beeflo in, bring that defense, bring the supporting cast to where it's at, so we could draft a rookie quarterback and then develop them to then just move away from this. That's investing 5 years now, that we're 4 years now that we've been working towards this. So I just don't think, I don't think that they'd make the trade, even if I think it's more rumors than anything to create buzz. But and 2, Joe Burrow basically dictated all the stuff that happened this year with that team. They paid T. Higgins, they paid Hendrickson, and doesn't he have a no trade clause, right? He'd have to waive that as well, right? So there's a lot of things that have to happen for it to go down. I think he'd probably retire before he allowed a trade to happen. You know what I mean?
Well, so, I think he would allow a trade to his LSU buddy Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, let's say we do keep JJ McCarthy, right? And we definitely need a veteran quarterback behind him, someone to mentor him. Just so happens today it was reported by The Athletic that Mr. Kirk Cousins himself is going to be released from the Atlanta Falcons.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. And what would be the percentages from each one of you on the panel of Kirk Cousins coming back to the Minnesota Vikings?
I hate to say it, but 65%. It's because he knows it. The thing is that he knows KOC and he knows what he wants to do, and he's had to play in that system for multiple years. So if his job is to mentor the kid, then he's the most obvious choice. If he's to come and compete for the job, or if they're looking for a guy to come compete for the job, then I don't think you pick him up, because his Achilles, post Achilles, Kirk is nowhere near Vikings Kirk, right? So I just don't see that.
With our facilities and our coaching,
Emiliano, it's not what percent do you want him back; it's what percent chance do you think he can back. It's more than a 0% chance.
I might sway this percentage here because the Falcons are releasing him for him to be able to start somewhere.
No, because he still wants to start, which is basically them saying you're not going to start here, so go ahead and try. But I don't know who's out there that's going to want to start him, and I don't think that Kirk Cousins is just going to sign with any team because he could start for them. Like, he's not going to go play for Cleveland.
But what if he doesn't get that starting position and he moves on to something else he's been doing for the past couple of weeks? So what is that?
Oh, no, I don't think he's done playing football.
My answer to your question, Keith or Cody or whoever posed it, is 99%. They release him, he's coming. Whatever the capacity, he's coming. And if KOC says,
screw
kind
them.
of like them statue quarterbacks that'll just take them 5 and 7 step drops and shut up, then guess what? 99% Kirk Cousins is going to be a Minnesota Viking again. Because by God, when he goes into the Hall of Fame, it's going to be as a Viking.
I mean,
honestly, it's not like we go out and make a trade. Who is it going to be? So the trade options that names that we've heard, even wild ones, would be Joe Burrow. We've heard Lamar. Those aren't going to happen. And then the ones that could happen, but I don't see happening, is Tua or Kyler Murray. After that, who is a better option than Kirk Cousins to come in to at least be the competition for JJ McCarthy?
Justin Fields.
Tua after B-Flow, he's not coming to Minnesota, right?
Okay, so there you go. That one's out.
Kyler had to have a clause in his contract so that he stopped playing video games and study the playbook. Do you think they're going to bring in him to try to run KOC's offense? That's one of the most complicated in the league.
It would be honestly, the kind of thing we do.
If it's a guy to compete for the job, I feel like it's going to be like a Mac Jones, somebody that's got some real potential. Somebody that they think that could actually play. If it's just about mentoring JJ and getting him to the next level, I think it's a no-brainer that it's Kirk. Even though I wouldn't want to see it, because then that whole controversy and the whole everything comes up. Even though at the time I really appreciated Kirk for what he did for the organization, is bring stability to the quarterback position. Because before then, I don't know if you guys remember, we had Matt Castle, Sam Bradford, Case Keenum, Teddy Bridgewater, just back-to-back guys with no stability at quarterback. So it was nice to have a guy that we had at quarterback, even though it was Kirk Cousins year after year after year. But
what has Kirk Cousins done ever in his career that would make anybody think that he would be a good mentor for a young quarterback?
That's what I'm saying. He probably doesn't want to. He'll probably most likely, if Phillip Rivers decides not to come back, he'll probably start in Indy, because he knows that with Danny Dimes isn't going to be playing until like week 10. So he's got at least 10 weeks or something to prove that he's the starter there. He's going to want to go to a team that he feels like he can start and win the position and hold it for the season. I don't think he has that feeling with Minnesota.
Go to the Jets. Please, Kirk, go to the Jets.
Make the prophecy come true.
For a 1-year bridge quarterback for the Jets before they draft one next year.
Yeah,
they got the draft capital there, man. That team's going to be interesting in a couple of years.
So, Shaq, who are you bringing in then? I mean, I showed the list. I don't know if you saw it. Like, it's not a great list. Who are you bringing in? Like, okay, you said Justin Fields, but if you're bringing in Justin Fields, you might as well just say JJ McCarthy's the starter.
Put the list up again. Sorry, I missed
it. He can start. JJ McCarthy can start as long as we have real competition behind him. Justin Fields, Teddy Bridgewater, Tyrod Taylor, Zach Wilson, all these quarterbacks are somewhat real competition for Justin, for JJ McCarthy. No reason Max Brosman should be backup quarterback to JJ McCarthy next year. There's no reason why Carson Wentz should be signed a week before the season start to be the backup quarterback. There's no we need backup quarterback right now. Get him in the program right now and tell him the job is open. Do with that information what you want.
I think it should be Tyrod, because he's
tore his knee, Emiliano. He tore his ACL the last game or the second to last game of the season.
Yeah, he's gone. But yeah, no, I think Tyrod would be the best option, because he's a backup and he's already comfortable with being a backup for years now. And when he has to play, he plays pretty darn good. He's got a similar. He doesn't play like JJ, but he's got that dual threat in him. So it's not like you have to rework the offense for when he has to play. That you can kind of run something similar. With Kirk, you can't run the same offense as JJ, right? So
no, you could run KOC's offense with Kirk.
You can run KOC's offense.
That's true. But I think they're really committed because at the later part of the season, Kwesi was interviewed and he said, "Hey, I really like what we've seen from JJ. He's shown us a bunch of Clark Kent, and he's also shown us a bunch of Superman. There was a lot of growing pains, but that's what you expect from a young rookie quarterback, right? So to me, that tells me that they're sold on this kid. His work ethic and what he does in the building, what we don't see is what has him over the top over anybody, right? So I feel like if they were to bring Kirk back, it's just to mentor him. And I don't think Kirk wants to play backup. He didn't want. That's why he left in the first place. You know what I mean? So
I don't know. Did you hear the last presser from KOC and Kwesi? It
No, I wasn't
sounded
there.
like that they were definitely interested in having another quarterback, and JJ McCarthy can't do the things that KOC wants to do on offense. They're not interested in tailoring the offense to what JJ McCarthy can do.
Mm-hmm.
So if JJ McCarthy can't do what KOC wants, they're going to go out there and get somebody who they think can.
Yeah, they expect him to develop into that. But no, I didn't see the presser. I was at South Beach then, I think.
People are saying Joe Milton. It's going to be a
but-
quarterback who has started a National Football League game, right? And who is either a legit starter and quarterback or is a legit backup quarterback.
Yeah, I don't want to hear Anthony Richardson. I don't want to hear Joe Milton. Like you're bringing in the same thing as what you already got at home. You might as well just keep working with that.
Project.
It's going to be somebody that could throw that deep ball consistently, and it's going to be an older guy. It's going to be a veteran. Mm-hmm. And I've said it before. Other people have said it before. Why Mac Jones? Why would the 49ers get rid of Mac Jones? Yeah. Like Brock Purdy gets injured fairly often. Without having Mac Jones as their backup quarterback, they don't go into the playoffs like they did. They probably miss it. So why would they get rid of him? And if they do, the price is going to be high. And then if you spend that kind of draft pick on him, now you know what? You probably got to sign to a contract.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think Tyrod is the best choice there if you can land him.
I'm taking Kirk over Tyrod.
Vikings,
sorry, at this point.
But I think the Vikings are going to go with Kirk. You know what I mean? Because that's just what Vikings do. You know what I mean? Sometimes when it's a 50-50 choice like that, it's like when they look at that, it's like a 50-50, a Tyrod versus Kirk. They're going to go with Kirk. They're always going to take the wrong side of that 50-50. You know what I mean? That's just what we do. We make mistakes like that. But I would prefer Tyrod because I think he's just a professional backup. And he can do the things
I think I'd rather have Carson Wentz than Tyrod.
Well, what we want so I think the biggest, what hinges on this backup quarterback situation, we want a quarterback that can win us more than 2 to 3 games. Like a backup should. You only need him for 2 to 3 games. That's it. But now we're talking about we might need this backup for 7 to 9 games. So that's the type of backup we're looking for. And I think the only backup that's out there is Kirk Cousins and Mac Jones.
Yeah. I just don't know if Kirk can do it anymore.
Darnold.
Whoa.
That is a revelation right there.
That's why I say it's 65% chance that it's him, even though I feel like the better choice is Tyrod.
I feel dirty reading this, Rinaldi.
Rinaldi, you are no longer allowed to say Cousins sucks.
Now,
we
forgot
what Kirk Cousins did this year.
Is there a backup out there that can win us 7 to 9 games, or are there just backups?
Jameis Winston.
There was one on the list. Case Keenum.
He did win 13.
Mac Jones is not a free agent. He has 1 year left on his contract.
Yep.
Jameis Winston would get Justin Jefferson the ball. He would get all the defensive backs the ball. He would get everybody the ball. They'd be getting it.
He's just not mobile. That's the thing.
I don't care, and neither does KOC.
Wait a minute. I
don't see Jameis Winston's name on this free agent list.
No,
well, that's just it. Neither was Mac Jones. We'd have to trade for him.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me if we got Jameis Winston, our quarterback would lead the league in takeaways or giveaways, and we still have a good defense? All he has to do is shine in the playoffs like Sam Darnold. Boom, we got ourselves another Sam Darnold.
No.
Oh.
I
Tell me you want to get banned from the channel without telling me you want to get banned from the channel.
I would be against Jameis Winston. I mean, I want to be against him. Like, he's a guy that's going to come in and KOC couldn't do it though, because Jameis Winston's not conventional. He's going to go out there. He's a football player. He'll go out there. He'll win you games. He'll cost you games, but he'll win you games by the way he plays as well. But KOC doesn't play that. He's like a way better Josh Dobbs, and KOC's not having that.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't need the AI pressers; just the real pressers would be good.
We just need him to. We just need him to make up for the turnovers he's about to have and just shine throughout the playoffs, and we'll be good. We're in a Super Bowl.
I agree. We should dump Rosemer and bring in Case Keenum for sure. But then we can bring in Kirk too. Let's get the whole band back together.
Yeah, I'm
See, here's the thing: Keenum and Kirk were not the band.
But
Kirk
they
was
were
the replacement lead singer.
So I'm just saying, let's like link them all up. That the last three quarterbacks for the Vikings, because we're keeping JJ McCarthy too. I think Anthony saw that we're giving up too early. I'm not giving up on JJ McCarthy. If we're gonna go into this season with JJ McCarthy as QB1, I'm down for it. But we do need some insurance. We do, and I would like it to be at least a step up from Carson Wentz at a minimum.
For me, I've seen enough. I think JJ is the guy going forward. We just need. I don't think we need someone to compete with him. I think we need a mentor. I think we need someone that's a professional backup that can play really well at times, and just hoping that we don't get that injury bug as bad as we did at the beginning of the season. And if we can avoid the injury bug, especially at the O-line, I think that JJ will surprise a lot of people. He made some beautiful throws this year that, they say that a lot. I remember like 5-10 years ago, people would say when rookie quarterbacks came in, they'd say things like, man, he had a terrible game, but he had that one throw that's a showtime throw. In 3 or 5 years, this guy's going to be the next. Now it's like they expect 3 to 5 years. They just expect it now. You know what I mean? So I think I wouldn't mind Kirk as long as he doesn't play, and as long as he's there for mentorship, and that's it. Because
I think Kirk serves as a better player than a mentor.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's in his genes. So that's what I'm saying. I think that's why the Vikings will make that mistake where they could bring a guy that is willing to be a backup and has experience in the league and can mentor him, like a Tyrod or a Tyler Huntley or somebody like that. You know what I mean? That's willing to play the backup role over wanting to start. They'll just pick Kirk because they're the Vikings. We expect them to make dumb decisions too, even though we
are the Vikings. It's the off season, so what we're going to do in the off season all the time is we're going to be talking about the quarterback. Like, we're not in a position yet to where we have our guy knowing for the next 5 years. Like, I believe we could, but we don't know that yet. Do you watch college football at all, Freddie?
I do a bit, but I'm not as versed. This is my second year watching it now, so I tried to get in it a few years ago, but there's just so many freaking teams and so many divisions that it got a little complicated. So this year I spent more time with it, and not too much though.
All right. Well, right now Shaq is going to help you out and some of our audience out. The Senior Bowl is this weekend, and that's a game where you could watch a lot of draft prospects. And it might be overwhelming to, just tune in who to watch. So Shaq has narrowed it down to 5 players that Viking fans should key on. Go ahead, Shaq.
Yep, it's officially draft season. First player we're going to talk about is Caleb Banks, defensive tackle from Florida. He is 6'6", 330 pounds. He can play all across the defensive line. More so, I would prefer him to be interior, like a nose tackle for us, filling in next to Jalen Redmond and Hargrave, or I forgot the other guy's name, Allen, whichever one we keep. And he's coming off a foot injury, but he has potential to be that next elite defensive tackle in the NFL, and he's gonna fall anywhere from late first to early second round. So he's worth monitoring in the Senior Bowl because we do kind of need a defensive tackle. a nose tackle to go with our pass rushers.
Yeah, I agree that we need a tackle, but I think I want a cornerback or safety first. So I think I might be a little bit upset. But now, if he falls to us at our second pick, I'll be listening.
Next, we do have a cornerback, Dalen Everett, Georgia. He's 6'1", 190 pounds. He's an outside zone corner. He ran a 4.3. He's an inconsistent tackler, and he has press issues. But he does have heart when it comes to tackling. Like, he would throw his body in the way to make sure he get the tackle. Projections, you have Marshawn Lattimore and Deontay Banks. So, you know, if we don't draft the cornerback in the first round, he's one of the cornerbacks to keep an eye on. You know, sit behind Byron Murphy, and maybe if we bring Isaiah Rodgers back, because we do need depth at cornerback. Next, we have Takaro Davis from Washington. He transfers from Arizona State to Washington, 21 years old. What caught my attention is he's 6'4", 200 pounds.
Wow.
He has good cornerback length, ball skills, and he has good press ability. He does lack a little bit of speed, and he can be overly aggressive. So if we was to be drafting him, I think we would have to, you know, let him sit on the bench for a year or two. But if we could get him to reach his full potential, he might be the next Tariq Woolen or Brandon Broner from the Seattle Seahawks. And, you know, when I looked at him, what's that?
Yeah, but could he be moved to safety?
It's possible, but I don't think he has the tackling ability to play safety like that. He's literally a tall corner, unfortunately.
Yeah, 6'4".
I'm not mad at a tall corner.
Cody approved.
Me neither. As soon as I saw 6'4", I thought, damn.
You know, it'd been nice to have him and Kyrie Jackson, both, you know, tall corners, and then we could have Byron Murphy play the slot, but it is what it is. Next, we have Justin Jolly. When I was watching the tape, they was calling him Jolie, like Angelina Jolie. He's 21, 6'3", 251 pounds. He's a receiving tight end who could replace TJ Hawkinson. And, you know, he'd be a nice 1-2 punch with Josh Oliver. Josh Oliver being our blocker tight end and Jolie being our receiving tight end. Give JJ McCarthy a nice easy blanket in the middle of the field, while Justin Jefferson and Addison is on the outside. Comparison is Isaiah Likely and Juju Smith.
Dude, look at the legs on that guy.
Mm-hmm. A monster.
Yeah, we need to move on.
He's a monster. He's one of the best pass catching tight ends coming out in this draft. And if we are going to move on from Hawkinson, I'm okay that he's not a great blocker. I want a pass catcher. Yeah. I want that blanket.
People in the chat.
I think Oliver is definitely capable of replacing Hawkinson. Like, he's too expensive at this point. I get he's got a lot of talent, but yeah, a guy like this to back up Oliver and do some dirty work, be nice to have.
If y'all in the chat haven't seen what this guy has done, go watch the Senior Bowl practices in the game. I promise you he's going to make an impact. This dude is a monster.
Yeah, I have a feeling when we go through our players and do videos, this guy's going to be part of that.
And he was only behind Tyler Warren and Heron Fannin Jr. For the last 2 years in receiving yardage.
Damn.
Nesbitt is a tight end, Sparky, but not quite on this level. But if we don't go tight end at all in this draft, Nesbitt might have a chance to crack the roster.
Well, he got to get his blocking up. That's what's holding Nesbitt back.
Ooh.
And my favorite prospect from the Senior Bowl is Nicholas Singleton from Penn State. 22 years old, 6 feet, 224 pounds. He's a dual threat running back. He runs angry. He has breakout ability. You know, what we've been lacking since Dalvin Cook was healthy with us, that hit the hole and he could take it anywhere on the field to the touchdown. He was considered to be a running back 1B with Jeremiah Love, but he took a step back last year. So I'm hoping maybe if he fall to us in the second or third round, we could scoop him up, have him sit behind maybe Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. And then once Aaron Jones retires, or if we cut Aaron Jones, he could be a perfect 1-2 punch with Jordan Mason. But I do like his breakaway speed.
I'd be interested in this one if we do go running back and if he actually lasts till round 3.
Yep. I like that.
I don't know if the note said lacks wiggle agility.
He's a one cut.
So why do we need a second Jordan Mason?
Oh, because he has speed. He's not going to get caught if he actually see the hole.
He's not Jahmyr Gibbs. That's what, he's not Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, you know, he's not going to get out of a tight space and make something happen. But when he gets through that hole,
then he's gone. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And because Mason
can do that.
Mason is great when the O-line is run blocking well. The guy can fall down for 5 yards, right? So to have a guy that can come in at different times and have that breakaway speed, and if he can hit a hole and be gone, we really need that, man. Really need that. Like, I loved Aaron Jones, but he's not that anymore.
I don't have work tomorrow. The rest of these guys, they might, but I mean, it's latest for me. I'm in California. They're on the East Coast, so they're good. What time is it where you're at right now, Freddie?
11:45. But I'm basically retired though, so.
We got nice.
I got time, man. I don't got nothing.
I know people are in the chat talking about other players, but we're specifically looking at people who are going to be playing in the Senior Bowl on Saturday, and some guys will watch Fish. I know you'll be watching that game, right?
Oh, I'll be riveted. Won't be able to take my eyes off the game.
Oh, man.
That's funny.
Freddie, I do not watch college football, period. Discussion.
I put two and two together. I just love it.
Ain't nobody got time for that. I got bronchitis. Y'all tell me who to like, I'll like them. And that's where it's at.
Or you'll not like them and they'll end up being great. So, I mean, keep doing what you do. But something, Fish, I think that you might watch is Hard Knocks. And the Vikings are one of 16 possible teams that could be on Hard Knocks this year. Would you guys want to see the Minnesota Vikings as part of Hard Knocks?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, because I want to see what's going on behind the scenes. But at the same time, no, because I don't want to see what's going on behind the scenes.
I do. I'm tired of hearing that there might be some stuff going on. I need the juice, but like, I don't know how much to actually show. But I mean, you at least get a taste, and you at least catch people's facial expressions and stuff. Like, oh, I can tell he don't like him. Like, I mean, that'll be something.
It's the
I want to see how that sausage is made, baby.
I do want to see how that sausage is made. I do. Do you guys think it could be a distraction at all?
Maybe, but I like being in people's blind spot right now. We had a target on our back after winning that many games, you know what I mean? And now people are just going to write us off and forget about us. So that gives us the ability to make some progress, and putting that on full display might kind of hinder that, but I love my Vikings, so I'd love it, actually. I don't know. I'm torn. I'm torn, man. I'm torn.
I'm not going to lie. If we were on a season of Hard Knocks, the one thing that I would actually document is the entire amount of screen time that Wes Phillips has on the show.
Because what does he do? What does he do?
We're all podcasters here, right?
Yeah.
And one thing we desperately need during the off season is content. And that is a massive chunk of content that we can talk every week during the off season. So
yeah, that's true.
Bring it on.
Absolutely.
Oh, that
especially some really juicy.
Yeah. You know what? I'm all for it, because
I didn't think about it.
That kind of worked for us when Kirk Cousins was on quarterback. That kind of gave us something every week. So yeah, no, that'd be cool. And I think it's a good time to show the Vikings, because they did go from that good season to a disappointing season. We have a head coach who might be good. He might not be good. And then we have the whole quarterback situation. So I do think there's something there. And then you have Brian Flores and see how he interacts with the players during the practice. Like,
They love that guy.
I do think there's intrigue there.
Mm-hmm.
That defense.
And it couldn't happen. But what would be great to happen is just something like they'd catch B-Flow telling Pettin, "Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Get the hell out of my office." I mean, that'd just be the greatest thing.
That would so wait, I haven't watched any of the previous seasons, right? Would that actually be this off season or would it be airing from last season?
It would be the upcoming season.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's what I expected. So
we'll find out too.
We'll be seeing how much of a mentor Kirk Cousins really is.
I just don't think he's that. He doesn't have it in him. He thinks he's a winner and he wants to freaking go out there and play. So I think that'd be a stupid move. Like, I wouldn't make that, but I feel like the Vikings are that. They make at least one dumb mistake like that a year. So it is what it is.
Yeah, J Viking 74, Emmett Johnson. Yeah, I watched it. I watched his highlights, and I just said, "Ooh."
I really want a nice young running back, someone with fresh legs that's got a lot of breakout speed that can complement Mason. He needs it, man.
I think we will get one in the draft. I mean, we were talking about that before the show, that there's actually a good amount of running backs in this draft, like not necessarily first rounders, but good impact running backs, and you can find the second to fourth round.
Man, we definitely got the wrong Cook brother, man. Frick.
Well, now
we didn't know then,
No, Dalvin Cook was a beast, man. Like,
he was good. He had a good O-line, though.
Brian Dalvin Cook for James Cook.
He had a good.
I mean, you remember James Cook's rookie season? We played them, and Dalvin Cook was all over the field, and James Cook couldn't do shit. So no,
it took a while.
I mean, literally, it did nothing.
It took a while because he didn't even start at Georgia. He was a backup to Zamir White, that's on the Raiders or was on the Raiders.
Who would have known he had the higher ceiling at that time? And especially what we had seen going into the draft and everything, right? Like, nobody could have predicted that.
I mean, James Cook got to play with Josh Allen. Dalvin got to play with
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. I'm more worried about Josh Allen than Kirk Cousins.
I was hoping the Vikings would have drafted James Cook just because we had his brother. It's like, well, why not get the younger version and have him in here ready to take his spot when that time comes? And that time came pretty quickly after James Cook got drafted, like a year or two after. So, any of you fellas got a Gallahorn?
Ooh,
what's that?
You
don't have to have one, but I'm just seeing if anybody has one.
Yeah, I got a prophecy. I got a good prophecy. It's gonna rile some people up here in this chat and amongst us.
Fish usually has one for us. I'm putting you on the spot.
Nah, I really don't have one that I'd be ready to jump up.
Oh, just a hot take? Okay.
We do hot takes and predictions right now. I'm just seeing if anybody has a hot take.
Vikings specifically, or just NFL in general, or NFC North?
Anything.
I got one. Us Vikings fans tend to blame the quarterback more for the Vikings failures than the actual Vikings team for why we always have shortcomings when it matters most.
That's pretty good take.
But is that a good thing? Like, is it a good thing that the coach is not as reactionary as us? Because we're very reactionary.
So, Shaq, during those years where we were saying, well, if the offensive line was better and the defense was better, Kirk Cousins could have won us more games.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still feel like the majority of the fans was saying it's more so the quarterback. It's always the quarterback's fault why we're not winning winning these games or in the Super Bowl.
It was kind of that battle. You had the Kirk blamers, and then you had the Kirk apologists who were saying offensive line and defense.
I mean, I think it's fair to blame the quarterback. They're the ones who are paid the most because they are the most important on the team. Like we said earlier in the show, look at all four teams that were in the conference championships. All have good quarterback play all season. So,
I mean, it doesn't matter what quarterback Minnesota
you get
Vikings
the credit, you get the blame.
NFL's got to stop playing people for their potential, and because it's getting out of hand. Like some of these guys that are getting paid haven't done anything, and then they're getting paid so much, and it's ruining everything else. It's making people reach for quarterbacks or for other players because, well, he could potentially be that guy, and then it just goes south, and then the market's just completely skewed, and everybody's got to overpay for average at best, you know. But yeah, let's go really wild. The Vikings bring in Shedeur Sanders to compete for the quarterback position with JJ McCarthy. Let's go something crazy that's not going to happen. Let's throw that hot take out there.
I don't. So that'd be more of a prophecy, which we're about to get into. But I'm just going to say I don't see it. Like they're not going to bring in somebody who's like at the same place as JJ McCarthy. Like
I know that's why I'm throwing something that's so wild and hot that it wouldn't.
But
you want a hat?
You made a fan. You made a fan with Tommy.
There you go.
Tommy, go give this man a subscribe.
Here's a gal. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers picked up Mike McCarthy because they want Aaron Rodgers back at starting quarterback for them this coming year over Buffalo.
Maybe. I'll say maybe that might have happened. And if that's the reason they did that, that is a foolish organization that you went and picked a coach so you can keep a 42, 43-year-old quarterback that you barely made the playoffs with, and you got eliminated in the first round. And Aaron Rodgers didn't look great. Like, you know, if he was there, cool. Take him, play with him, like, cool. But, like, to, like, make your decision on head coach because of him?
Well, what's Aaron Rodgers now? He's like a bridge quarterback, right? Pittsburgh Steelers goes out and drafts a quarterback.
If you're just looking for a bridge quarterback, go get Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
If you here's your decision on wanting to keep Aaron Rodgers, that would be super foolish. And I don't take the Steelers franchise to be super foolish.
I got a Gallahorn. The NFL is not rigged, and it is a 100% coincidence that their preseason Super Bowl promo poster had Drake May and Sam Darnold standing the closest to the trophy.
I like that.
It was. I saw that post. I had the picture. I wish I had it on this laptop so I could have brought it up, but I don't. I don't buy that the NFL is rigged at all. Like, can the refs do some things to skew a game? Sure, but that's about as much as can be done. The players aren't in on this, and you would need the players in on this.
It's too hard to rig, but in that
you've never seen The Longest Yard. You can shave points as a player.
Yeah. But
no, you can, but like to rig a whole league, you need a lot of cooperation.
Yeah, exactly.
Are there players out there selling? Sure. I mean, it's you've been seeing it happen in baseball and basketball.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Sure.
I will say this, Keith. He is my favorite football player of all time favorite football player. And I will tell you that to this day, I believe that Warren Moon threw that playoff game against Buffalo, being up 20 points going into the fourth quarter and then just playing absolute garbage and to allow Buffalo to come back to win. Nobody can convince me otherwise. He threw that game. And he's my favorite football player of all time.
I will say you don't need the players to rig games. All you need is the zebras. The zebras will make any team look elite.
Then why didn't the Chiefs make the playoffs this year, Shaq?
Because they said, fuck the Chiefs. That's literally what they
Your run's done, son.
Like, we saw the Chiefs without the refs for the first time in a while, and that's exactly what happened.
The Chiefs went over to the Patrick and said, hey, bro, you need to get hurt.
What's up, Norris? Yeah. I'm still not buying that. It's real to me, damn it. Like, no. I'm not.
We
I'm
was
not
talking
even-
about wrestling behind the scenes. They might as well just have promos right before the week matchups, just trash talking each other before Sunday.
If you notice the player introductions, they look more like wrestling entrances now.
It's a good observation.
Oh, Shaq.
He knows. He was the one. My boy
How's
was
that
the
for
one.
some
He put me
timing?
on to the ref sheet.
He's like, I just stepped in here, and as soon as I step in here, it's Chief slander.
Oh man,
Emiliano,
love.
Bill Belichick, Minnesota 2027. Come on now. I do think it's crazy that Bill Belichick is not getting into a Hall of Fame this year. That is
that's
that is so
insane.
wild.
He should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer without even a second thought. Like, what the hell's going on there?
Do you know who else is not making the Hall of Fame?
Who?
Eli Manning on his second year of eligibility. That just means our man that's in there is moving on up.
When can
Yeah.
Tom Brady go to the Hall of Fame?
What? After those two epic Super Bowls, like some of the most
He didn't get in last
exciting
year.
Super Bowls they ever.
They planning on trying to put Brady, Belichick, and Eli in the Hall of Fame together. That's what I'm thinking.
That's wild.
Oh my gosh, Shaq, you should make that a hot take, because if that happens, that'd be so funny. Like the speeches would be funny if all three of them were going up there. But yeah, because Eli Manning, he does have the 2 Super Bowls and he does have those iconic moments, but he's kind of just a meh quarterback. I mean, one of the Super Bowls that they won, they were an 8-8 team. Like,
He's a great quarterback, not elite, not legendary, but like he won 2 Super Bowls off some incredible freaking plays, man. Like those Super Bowls should at least give him the nod. You know what I mean? By year 3 at the very
I don't know. Does winning 2 Super Bowls give you an automatic nod? Because that's the only way that Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer. Like, I don't think his body out. Like, there's some players like they're a Hall of Famer and they don't need a Super Bowl to validate that. And he's guys.
But in modern day, I don't think a quarterback's been put into the Hall of Fame without a Super Bowl win though, since like the year 2000 or something like that, 2003 or something like that. I think the stat is like now it's almost a prerequisite for like modern times. So like he's got 2 of them against the GOAT.
Back in Eli,
and he did it against the GOAT though. That's the thing.
I say Eli should be the standard for if you're a Hall of Fame quarterback, you need to play better than Eli.
Right? He ranks like top 10 or 11 in passing yards and touchdowns in NFL history. I mean, with those 2 Super Bowls, that should be already automatic. But and it's 2 Super Bowls we'll never forget.
Trent Dilfer, Nick Foles, Brad Johnson,
but they're not top 10 or top.
No, I'm saying
you forgot one important stat, Cody. He also leads the NFL in interceptions.
Did he surpass?
He broke Brett Favre's record.
All right, well, he's in. He's only got 1.
Yeah,
he's in the top 10, top 11, whatever.
Brett Favre's the man too.
But interceptions, not passing touchdowns, interceptions.
Yeah.
Most interceptions thrown.
And Brett Favre's number 2. Yeah, and he's in. Or he's going to get in. Or he's in, yeah.
My bad, Milion. I read that question wrong. I thought you were asking for like 2 quarterbacks that won a Super Bowl, not what quarterback won 2 Super Bowls.
And like with Eli Manning, his 2 Super Bowls, you'll remember them. You'll remember them for the rest of your life. Does anybody remember Brett Favre's Super Bowl against the Patriots?
Only because I was.
Can you think of a play that happened? You know, no, I can't.
Yeah, Desmond Howard kick return for a touchdown.
Yeah, Desmond Howard's kick return.
He was the MVP of the game.
Yeah.
So it's wild.
Damn, that's insane.
Right, we're approaching that time. I mean, I'm off tomorrow, but it's up to you guys. But we can do our
predictions then. Let's go some wild predictions time.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do our purple prophecies. Cody, you look ready. Hit us with
I'm super ready, and it's going to be awesome. I'm going to say this right now. Sam Darnold will be the highest paid NFL player in the NFL to start the 2027 season.
And but he might be on our team. What the hell?
Oh, Sam Darnold.
Not Kirk Cousins.
Sam Darnold.
Oh, I thought you said Kirk Cousins. I was like,
No.
what?
Sam Darnold. His guaranteed money runs up.
My
this
mistake.
year.
I heard Kirk Cousins. Sorry.
Yeah, guaranteed money is gone for Sam.
Who is currently the highest? Is it Dak?
I think it's Josh Allen off that new deal he signed.
Yeah, it was Dak before that, right?
Mhm.
By like $1 or some bullshit.
Okay.
Nah, man. Nah. I can't. Nah. Like I do think he's definitely going to get a new contract. Like, because he doesn't have any more guaranteed money. He's only scheduled to make like 30 million. I do think he gets that bump into like the 40 million. Even without winning the Super Bowl, I think he gets it. Highest paid.
I mean, you look at Joe Flacco. He won the Super Bowl MVP, highest player.
Yeah, Joe, I remember Flacco
also
getting
had
the highest paid. I was like, "What the heck?"
Joe Flacco also had a horrible first 2 years in the league too. He was rough. Led the league in interceptions. It was looking bad, and everybody was, "Oh, the defense carried him. He's garbage," and then was MVP of the Super Bowl like 5 years later. You know, it takes time.
That's hot, Cody.
I'm gonna say Vikings start the season on a 6-game winning streak.
Ooh, without even knowing the schedule.
I don't care what the schedule is. That's the prophecy, boys.
That's a Viking.
I like that one. What do you got, Fish?
So I had one that was a little more vague, but I've really narrowed it down. Okay. I was going to say that the Super Bowl MVP for this Super Bowl was not going to be a quarterback, but I'm going to narrow it down even more. The Super Bowl MVP is going to be Kenneth Gainwell.
Kenneth Walker.
Walker, you mean?
Walker, yeah.
I was like, Pittsburgh's in the Super Bowl?
Sorry.
Man, quiet.
Let me say that again, even though you're not clipping.
Yeah,
The
it's
Super
so
Bowl
narrowed
MVP is
down.
going to be Kenneth Walker.
There we go. Yes. He's a beast, man. That guy can run the ball hard. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's crazy what happens when Zach Charbonnet is not playing.
Yeah, and the thing is, Kenneth Walker's gonna be a free agent this offseason, and we might have had a chance at him if it wasn't for these last couple playoff games. But if they go and make Sam Darnold the highest paid player in NFL, can they afford to have Kenneth Walker?
Good point.
Hey, see where
Good
my
point.
mind's thinking? See where this mind's
point.
thinking? You know what I'm
Good point.
saying?
All right, I'm gonna go with in the Senior Bowl on Saturday. One of the players that Shaq talked about today will either score a touchdown or be involved in a turnover.
Like it.
Hey.
And when I say be involved in a turnover, I'm not saying they're going to deflect the ball. Either they're going to get an interception, recover a fumble, or force a fumble that gets recovered, or or one of the offensive guys will score a touchdown.
Let's go.
I got faith in the Shaq 5.
Shaq 5.
All right, what do you got, Shaq?
Okay, so my purple prophecy, E has said it in the chat, but I'm gonna go with it. Sam Darnold will be Super Bowl MVP, and then I'm gonna be drunk out of my mind.
Cool. When that happens, Shaq, I want you to tell us what's it like for your team to win a Super Bowl. Like, I want to hear that because I don't know what that feels like. Because I don't know what that feels like. So I'm gonna need to, take your word for it.
It's like a pregame, before you go to the club. I'm about to see how it feels to win the Super Bowl, and I'm gonna come back and give y'all the inside feeling.
But then you know what? Sometimes you realize the pregame was the funnest part.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's before the ugly lights come on, Shaq.
You can't win them all.
It's going to be a fun game regardless, man. It's going to be a slobber knocker. I don't think it's going to go down like anybody thinks, though. Just like all these games have not gone down like most people expected. So
yeah, the Super Bowl always goes weird. I mean, on paper it looks like Seattle should mop them up, but the Super Bowl, like, weird things happen. You got two good coaches, two good quarterbacks, and the Patriots got good defense. And I decided to save our predictions till next week, fellas. I don't know if you've caught on to that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because we might have to do might have to do our Thursday show. We might have to do a Skol and Chill too next week. Super Bowl Skol and Chill, maybe.
Oh, I'm with it. Maybe.
Man, Mike Vrabel, Coach of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
It's only somebody had predicted that before the season started.
Has that been announced?
Oh, but I'm pretty sure he's going to win it. Like, he's the front runner, right?
Yeah, he probably gonna win it.
Well, I mean, they do that before the playoffs, right?
I think this Thursday, right? Is
They
the
should do it
show?
Saturday.
But I mean, like, it's already picked before the playoffs. Like, I don't think that playoff
Yeah. No, it doesn't. No, yeah. But from what he did to take a team from worst to first,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
I'm
almost
trying to find a
unbeatable.
way for it not to be a Patriot, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to.
It's either gonna be verbal or Mike McDonald.
Yeah.
He's up there too, but were the
Where
Seahawks
did
that
Mike
bad
McDonald
last year?
come from?
The Seahawks was shit, like.
Remember. I can't remember what their record was right now.
No, they started off pretty good actually, and then they kind of tanked at the end. Like Gino started
like
falling
6
off.
games.
Oh yeah, it was Gino. Yeah. Gino was their quarterback. Gino, man, what the hell happened to Gino? Well, he's got no O-line, and he needs a time. If he gets rushed, he can't go through his progression. He makes mistakes. But if he has all the time in the world, man, that guy's got beautiful footwork, and he does all the things he's supposed to and gets the ball out to the right person. But as soon as he gets even rushed, like 10%, he falls apart, man. It's sad to see.
Talking about Gino?
Yeah, Gino Smith last year he was so good, and this year he's been freaking terrible.
They wrote back.
I saw a tweet from Mina Kimes who said that the Seahawks were foolish to trade Geno Smith to the Raiders, and for a 3rd-round pick, the Raiders got a steal, and the Seahawks, there's no way that they're going to go find somebody that can replace Geno Smith this season.
Mina Kimes writes her stuff with AI though. Like she has no idea what she's talking about. That girl is.
Hey, that was a crazy freezing cold take.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they did, Jax. Hey, Jax, talking about them Timberwolves. What about Giannis? Bring him on over. Let's get away from that Western Conference final. Let's actually win a finals.
Ooh, that'd be interesting if he came with you guys. Him and Ant.
Yeah, they're the top 3 for Giannis right now.
Man, Ant is probably my favorite NBA player right now. That guy is something else.
All right, we're getting into basketball talk, so
we got to balance it.
to wrap this thing up. Shaq, what are your final words?
Final words. If you still didn't shovel yourself out, you might as well just sell your car right now because that snow's not going anywhere anytime soon. If you want to be a good neighbor, though, you could go help somebody shovel their car out because they probably need to go to work, and them Uber rides ain't getting any cheaper. Other than that, I'll say thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys catch the Senior Bowl. We usually get a player or two from the Senior Bowl who can be an impact. We got Harrison Smith who played in the Senior Bowl, who was high end for us, or you get a bust like Christian Ponder in the Senior Bowl. So you never know what you're going to get. Other than that, make sure you like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. If you're feeling generous, you can send donations to the Cash App at Let's Go, or you could click on YouTube, the $ button, and send donations that way. Thanks for joining us, Purple and Gold Bars. It's a pleasure, me and you in Minnesota, and we should do this again sometime.
Absolutely, gentlemen.
Michael Fish.
For Vikings fans, by Vikings fans. Thanks for joining us, buddy. It's a good night, good talk. Now that we've got all that quarterback talk out of the way, the rest of the offseason, we'll talk about anything but quarterback.
Yeah, right.
The 24 of you still watching, appreciate you very much. Like, subscribe, please. Thank you. And other than that, let's go.
Let's go. Cody.
Hey, weekend's coming around the corner. Make sure y'all have a plan if you are going out. Don't be driving drunk home. Just be safe out there, right? Winter conditions are coming out. I know if your fans out in the Carolinas, you're getting one hell of a storm. It's been pretty rough out there. I know Fish is in Kentucky. He's getting some snow. It's going to be bitterly cold throughout the Midwest and the South, so let's be prepared for that. Just have a plan. Don't get stuck out there. Be safe, and always let's go.
Let's go. All right, purple and gold bars. Final words.
Yo, thanks for having me on the show, guys. You know, like you guys said, Minnesota Vikings fans, for you, by us. I really appreciate how you guys have me out here. God bless every single one of you guys, every single one in the chat. And, you know, the best is yet to come. The first year is always the hardest, and hopefully it's all uphill from here on out.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Glad you were able to come and do that. It was a good show. If you ever need one of us to jump on your show, just let me know, and one of us will be there. For everybody still watching, thank you guys. Appreciate it. I know it's the off season, but you know, we're all diehard Viking fans here, and we're all, you know, just looking for that content, looking to talk about it. We'll be here talking about it every week, and we will see you guys next Thursday. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. For Viking fans, Minnesota Vikings.